Oh no. Oh no. My mic. It's not ready. Oh no. Get this shit. Oh my god. Okay. Look. Am I prepared? No. Am I getting there? Yes, as fast as I can. Don't worry. I got this. Oh my god. Get on the hood. There we go. Alright. Excellent. I'm so glad you can hear me because I'm dropping all my equipment on the floor. So glad to see you. I am so glad you're here. I've been looking forward to this. Hi, so glad you could make it. I'm gonna give everybody a minute to filter in a little bit. Oh my god, my phone is dying. Remember what I said about being unprepared? Yeah, that still stands. I was shooting content and I lost track of time. And it's 7:30. I am in a completely different outfit in a completely separate room with a projector set up, demon contacts in, doing a whole thing. And then I was like, it's 7:30. I have to go. I didn't even have time to make myself another pot of coffee. I was like, I gotta go. I do have water though, actually. I finished my other pot of coffee earlier and I swapped to water. Still drinking the water. We're doing good. Hello. So glad you guys are here. I'm glad we got a usual crew of people that show up every single time. Is T Galaxy here? Is T Galaxy here yet? T Galaxy, where are you? T Galaxy, you here? They might not be here yet. I don't think they're here yet. They might show up in a little bit. They gave me a coffee rec that I'm following up on. That's going to be my next coffee order. They were giving me coffee recs, which... Are you here? It has your icon up top, but I don't know if you... There you are. Awesome. Okay. I was just talking about you. Speak of the devil. No, I was saying that you give me a... Yeah, I was like, is T Galaxy here? Because I'm following up on your coffee rec. I got an order placed for them. So... I was talking, I was like, yeah, the usual crew's filtering, and I was like, is T Galaxy here? Because I want to follow up on that coffee rec. But I bookmarked that shop, and I am so excited. Yeah, ignore the really exaggerated makeup right now, because I was not ready for this. I lost track of time. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm trying my best. But yeah, I was in the other room in a completely separate outfit, doing some whole content and had demon contacts in. Took 10 minutes to get them in, and I was halfway through this video and I was like, I have a live in 30 minutes. Yeah, how was everyone's holiday? Did it all go well? Is it good? I'm not much of a holiday person, so I forget that they happen. You want to know what I did Christmas? Because it was not eventful. I stayed at home and played with my cat and played Pokemon all day. I forgot I had a phone. I forgot I had and because I was supposed to work Christmas, and then last minute they were like, Christmas, we're not working Christmas. And we were like, oh, cool, I guess. Well, everybody else was like, yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. I wanted to get holiday pay, but whatever, all y'all are lame. You made enchiladas for that, see... I like a good chill holiday. I don't like going places or being around a whole bunch of people. And that would just stress me out. So I'd be like, I'm not doing that. Playing games with Discord. Denki does that all the time. Denki was like yelling at 12-year-olds playing Among Us last night. Do I look sad? I'm really sorry. My makeup is real messed up right now because I was doing another video. Yeah, it sounds nice. I like a good chill holiday. Like, if I had to go and, like, be around a whole bunch of people and extended family in a house that I'm not normally in, and, like, they want me to put my coat in, like, one of the back bedrooms, I'm leaving immediately. I hate that when they're like, you could just put your coat, and then I'm like, I'm not putting my coat anywhere. I'm leaving in less than an hour. I can't do this. Are we eating now, or, like, do I have to wait? Because if I have to wait, I'm leaving. Bill Paxton was here. Oh my God, Jake. You... Jake... We have a whole Bill Paxton joke. You're stuck for hours with people you didn't know. That's the worst. That's legit the worst. I hate that. Your family's homophobic and toxic? Oh my God, same. Can we get a cat video for a present? Oh my gosh, I've been thinking about, like, doing a series where it's, like, Shinzo rates your cat videos, because I love getting cat videos, and I've low-key wanted to do that for a long time. But I didn't know if, like, people would just, like, think it was lame, but I love getting cat videos, and I have followers that send me cat videos. Lady Eva Insomniac, like, they send me loads of cat videos all the time, and I cannot be more appreciative because I love getting cat videos. And I take loads of cat videos, so... And I don't post them because I feel like most of my platform is now anime content, and if I was just, like, posting cute shit about my cats all the time, people would be like, what is this account? Is it cosplay, or is it cats? And two things can be true, I guess. But oh yeah, one of a few. 2, 3, 4. How many tattoos do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. That's not a Harry Potter tattoo. Whatever. It's like 3 Harry Potter tattoos. I kind of thought it would, but then I don't know. Thank you. See, like, I low-key just, like, that's why I cosplay Shinzo, is I don't have to try so hard, because it is very close to my actual personality. I'm tired, I'm not enthused, I like cats and coffee. Oh my God, Dad, and my dad, the guy I call my dad, he's sort of like my adopted pseudo-dad. He's not my real dad, but I call him Dad. He's like my adopted dad. And he sent me, like, a cat video, but he tagged, like, every other kid that he is pseudo-adopted. So it's like 20 kids. And I've met them, and I don't like them. And this is where my life gets dangerously close to Shinzo's, is I've never saved any of their numbers, and I have no interest in talking to them. But then I just got, like, 40 messages from, like, 20 separate people I didn't know, and I was like... Because it was a group, it was, like, in a group chat or whatever, and then it just got spammed, and so now I'm receiving a bunch of messages from people I don't know their names. And I can guess who they are, like, I know who they are, but, like, I don't know what their phone numbers are. So it's kind of funny. I was like, this is kind of what my life is actually like, and I hate this. So now it's just me trying to guess who each individual is, and I'm like, I think that's Tia. And it's just, yeah. Oh my God, oh God. And it's even worse when, like, you don't know who anybody is. Because I'll tell you, I don't even have, like, Nody Bean's number. Like, we don't text. Like, apart from making content, and like them bullying me into watching Disney movies. We don't text. So like, and there's a reason for that, because I don't like spam text. Don't send me text. So it's one thing if it's through like Snapchat or Discord, but I'm not giving you my number. So I have like 5 people's numbers saved into my phone. It's like my dad, my partner, Danky, and like my other Danky, my actual Danky, my other partner, my mom, and an Asian restaurant I really like, and no one else. I have 5 contacts. Asian restaurant's called Ichiban. Anyway, so those are the only numbers on my phone. So I literally have no idea. I can guess who these people are, but I legit yeah. If you don't have your favorite restaurant saved in your phone, what are you even doing? Yeah, like literally that's what I do. I don't even save them. I don't even pretend to save them. Like if someone's like, "Here, let me give you my number." I'm like, "No. We're good. I don't need it." I guess I won't use it. I'm not going to use it. If I'm not going to use it, why do I need it? Oh my god, that sounds terrible, slimes. Slimes. That sounds like the worst. Insomniac, you're here. Did I eat? Yes, I did eat. I'm so sorry. I was shooting content all day, so I've been kind of busy. Thank you for the roses. I really appreciate that. That's so nice of you. Yeah, that sounds so anxiety-inducing. 100 numbers on your phone. I could never. Couldn't be me. Good luck with that. So thank you so much for all the roses. I really appreciate that. You had no internet for a bit. Ah, yeah. Oh, well, heard and understood. You're all caught up and ready. I am so excited to hear that. We're getting ready to rock here. If you don't know what this live is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you we're reading a book, and it's called Johannes, Cabal, the Necromancer, and it's my favorite book, so I'm going to read you a story. And we are starting off at chapter 11 this week. So if you have not read it and you have not been here, there are recaps on the page. Some of them are on YouTube. I'm still busy re-recording those. Thank you so much for the roses. I really appreciate that. Chapter 9 was no. That pretty much sums it up. Chapter 9 was no. I do. Noti gave me that. Noti gave me the Shinzo bookmark, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. I think I'll use it. They also gave me a pin the other day. Anyway, whatever. I'll tell you about it later. Chapter 9 was horrible, but it's okay. We're past it. We made it through, you and I. Noti's good. They're a little bit bummed from Christmas and like the comeback from the con, you know? Like when you get back from a con and you're really depressed, supposedly. I don't know. I'm always relieved when I get home from cons. I'm like, great, I'm by myself. But, you know, most people get really sad. So they're doing okay. But they really want me to come over and watch Encanto, which I don't want to do. But they had some stuff they needed to do today, like on their own, like their own content. So, yeah, con drop, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm glad you're caught up, and we're gonna go and dive into chapters 11 and 12. And once again, if you haven't read them or haven't been keeping up with the lives, which is totally okay, life happens, and you can't always make every single one. There are recaps on the page each week. I think I have them all labeled, but I'm terrible at labeling things. But anyway, they come out every Wednesday. So if you go and find the video from last Wednesday, that's what it'll be. It'll be a recap. And you can catch yourself up. You can also get the book. It's a really good book. But we're going to start chapter 11 and chapter 12 today. Yeah, it was real whack last week. We're not going to do that again this week. I'm not going to bring everybody down with my weird death talk. I'm so sorry. This is where I don't talk to people. Thank you for the roses. I really appreciate that. And once again, when I start reading, I may not respond to you. So if you're asking me questions and stuff, the mods will help you out and answer stuff and do stuff and, fill you in on what's going on. And, I'm counting on you guys to, let people know what's going on. I'm glad you like Death Talk. Not a lot of people do. And then I start talking about weird stuff and people get like, Anyway, so I'm going to read chapter 11. Are we all ready? Are we all good to go? Because this is going to be a wild ride, actually. Thanks. The vibes were great last week. I was really kind of worried about it. I was like, oh. All right, strap in, people. We're going to get to work. All right. Chapter 11, in which Cabal preys upon misfortune and there is unpleasantness. Also, I'm going to go ahead and trigger warning people before we start this, because I just realized what chapter this is. Oh my god. Trigger warning. If you have lost a child, trigger warning for infanticide. Just going to throw that out there. I don't want to spoil everything, but people, maybe if you've lost a child, maybe sit this one out and just listen to the recap. Anyway. It was an utter impossibility that the carnival be up and running the night it arrived, yet, with less fuss and much less time than putting out a picnic table, a full-fledged carnival featuring 30 sideshows, stands, rides, and exhibits was lit up and functional. Nobody could explain how it had been done. By coincidence, the crowd of 250 citizens at the station were all facing the other direction at the same time. They all jumped in unison as the steam calliope started up behind them, all turned and said minor variations of, "Ooh," one less O here, one more exclamation mark there. My contact is floating. Hold on. Okay. "A first night special offer," cried the tall, dark-haired, pale man with the charisma, while his brother, the tallish, blonde, pale man who only ever seemed to deploy his smile as an offensive weapon, stood behind him, arms crossed. "Entry free." The good folk of Penlow-on-Thirst had been brought up to believe that it was rude to refuse a gift, so they politely filed in under the archway of gleaming painted woodwork and light bulbs. Barrow walked until he stood behind the arch and looked up. For a second, it seemed to say, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." But after a moment, it definitely proclaimed how the crowned heads of here, there, and everywhere regarded the carnival as ideal entertainment for those of inherited money and limited gene pool. This being regarded as a fine advertisement in some quarters. Barrow decided that he had been mistaken, but that his subconscious was trying to tell him something. Forewarned and forearmed, he entered. Johannes, Cabal, Necromancer, and unwilling carny huckster watched the crowd and fretted. This was their penultimate night, and things just weren't right. He couldn't put his finger on it. The crowd seemed to hang together, moving like an extended family from tent to ride to sideshow. Beneath the constant calliope music and the cheerful banter of the barkers lay near silence. People just stopped and looked and moved on. There was a small sensation when somebody bought a toffee apple from a concession stand. What's wrong with them? I thought I was supposed to be a hero now. Why are they still so suspicious? Horst appeared at his elbow, where he most definitely hadn't been a second before. They're nervous. I may have given them an explanation for the station, but that doesn't mean they have to like it. This place reminds them that something weird has happened, something inexplicable and out of the ordinary. Face it, Johannes, I doubt anything of the ordinary has happened in this place since some passing peasant thought it was a clever place to start a town in year dot. Did you see that fuss over a toffee apple? They couldn't have been more astounded if we were selling lark tongues in aspic. This place may be a washout. It can't be a washout. It's the last port of call. 2 souls. I have to get 2 souls, or this whole night has been a waste of time. And 98 souls. 99. My life is forfeit. Horst looked at him sharply. What? You never said anything about that. Strangely, it wasn't the sort of thing that I like to dwell on. What does it matter? If I don't get my soul back, then I can't continue my researches. You just leave a trail of metaphysical disaster behind you, don't you? You made a mess of your life, my life, however many people you've doomed in the 8 years and 37 days I was stuck in the cemetery, and now you want to spread the good word to another 100. And for what? You know damn well. Exasperated, Horst shook his head. No, I don't. He wagged his finger in his brother's face. I used to know. I even sympathized. Idiot that I am, and look what it got me. But for what now? I don't know. I don't think you do. I think you just carry on this way, because if you stopped and asked yourself, gosh, Johannes, why am I such a total shit to everybody? I don't think you'd be able to give yourself an honest answer. Cabal flared. He slapped Horst's hand to the side. I don't care what you think. I am supremely unconcerned by what you think. Horst shrugged. Great. So long as we understand each other. No, we don't understand each other. Or at least, you don't understand me. You never concentrated on anything in your life. You don't understand what it is to be dedicated. You don't understand what it means to go to sleep and wake up with the same thought, and for that thought to always be there. That's not dedication. No, that's obsession. And this is your big effort to understand me. Is it a label? I should have expected anything but. It's not a label. Look at yourself. Gods, Johannes, you were going to be a doctor. You wanted to help people. Doctors, frauds, and quacks just trying to hold back the dark and full of pat excuses when they fail. Too stupid or too scared to bring back the light. Not me. I'll be the modern Prometheus no matter what I have to do, no matter how dark I have to make it before I can find the secret. And what if there is no secret to find? What if it's beyond mortals? What then? What about you? There has to be, said Cabal, but he seemed very old and very tired as he said it. There has to be. Horst took his younger brother by the shoulders. Listen to me. We've got 24 hours, less allowing for the sunlight, but we've got time. We can think of a way out of this. Cabal just blinked uncomprehendingly. These contracts always have a hole in them somewhere. I think it must be traditional. We burn the contracts, get you out of this wager, and then find a hole in the contract you signed when you sold your soul. There's no hole in my contract, said Cabal. I signed my soul over in return for the tenets of necromancy. And that's all? I don't know. The secret of life after death, the usual stuff. That's what you asked for? Something like that. Then that's easy. Don't you understand? You wanted the secret of life after death. All you've got is a few formula that allow you to bring people back as parodies of what they were. And you're the one who's had to do most of the work to get that far. They failed to deliver their side of the bargain. That's just quibbling with definitions. Oh, come on. You think Satan would miss an opportunity like that if the situation were reversed? What would I want with Satan's soul? Not what I've meant. We've got him. It's a philosophical minefield. Cabal had a brief mental image of Aristotle walking halfway across an open field before unexpectedly disappearing in a fireball. Descartes and Nietzsche looked on appalled. He pulled himself together. But I was given the power to invoke the formula. That was the real boon. It's got you nowhere. Give it up. Start again. I don't know. He tried to work out how much research it would require to recoup mundanely the ground that he had lost in the diabolic. It seemed a very great deal. Johannes, do it. It's redemption. To Horst Cabal, his brother Johannes looked like he had when he was 6 and his dog died. The same numb inability to understand what had happened. Johannes Cabal looked at the floor and the night sky and finally at his brother. He seemed very lost. I don't know, he whispered. Horst opened his arms. He hadn't held his little brother since he was a child. They had never been close, and Cabal's admission that he'd hated Horst had explained a lot. But even now, and even here, blood was still thicker than water. Hey, boss! Bones came out of nowhere, and the moment that Horst's gaze flickered from Johannes Cabal to Mr. Bones and back again, his brother had vanished and been replaced by Cabal, the Necromancer. What? Snapped Cabal. I think we got a live one, Bones said, grinning widely. Horst sighed. The moment had gone. Up until now, he'd quite liked Bones, with his easy smile and bonhomie. Up until now, it had been very easy to forget that he was nothing more than a tiny bit of hell that had been brought to earth and put in a boater. That smile had changed everything. They were talking about somebody's soul, and it was a cause for delight. Where? Penny Arcade. She's just wallowing around looking pretty damn miserable. We gotta have something she wants. The arcade? About time that place earned its keep. Cabal strode off with Bones at his heel. Horst blurred and was there before them. The Penny Arcade had consistently proved a good attraction to people wanting to get rid of spare change, but it performed badly in the soul-reaping stakes. Now, as always, it was packed with children and teenagers playing the bagatelle boards and one-armed bandits testing their strength against a brass arm and watching the macabre events of the penny tableau. Horst looked around frantically. They would arrive soon, and he would have lost his chance to get the prospective victim out of here. Impeded by bodies, he was unable to move at high speed and was forced to push politely through the throng. He couldn't see anybody who fitted the bill until, finally, a mob of pubescents gave up trying to win fluffy toys from the crane machine and moved away. She was young, probably not even 20, and Horst had rarely seen such an expression of ingrained misery. Here she was, surrounded but untouched by people, her unhappiness a tangible thing that must have seemed to her almost deliberately ignored by others. Horst moved firmly through the mass. "Excuse me, madam." He was at her elbow. She looked up. Too many nights without sleep. Too many nights crying. He looked toward the entrance. He could see his brother and Bones approaching. He didn't have enough time for subtlety or even just to mesmerize her and steer her out of there. "You seem unhappy. May I be of assistance?" She just smiled wanly, uncertain. "I am Horst Cabal, one of the proprietors. It pains me to see one of..." Cabal and Bones were almost at the entrance. "Look, what's wrong? Can it be fixed with money? We've got more money than we know what to do with. I can give you as much as you need." Her smile faded, and she just looked confused. He had no more time. He leaned forward and whispered in her ear, "Whatever you do, do not give in to temptation. Promise me." He leaned back to find her looking at him uncomprehendingly. "Don't give in," he hissed, and moved away. Cabal looked around the arcade. There were any number of women who might have been either miserable or just fashionably inexpressive. Any knack for spotting misery that he may have once possessed had long since atrophied through lack of use. "Who?" he asked Bones. "That one, boss. She got a face longer than a wet day." Cabal studied her. She looked a little baffled to him, frankly. "So what does she want?" Bones shrugged ineloquently. "I don't know." Cabal sighed with exasperation and tried to remember how the arcade worked. The sideshows were so much easier. There you could just ask. He looked around for somebody to ask here, and his eye fell upon the mechanical fortune-teller. Inside her glass case, Madame Destiny promised to tell the gullible punters their fortune, printed on a small piece of card, and for a single penny of the realm. She'd proved useful in the past, he recalled. Perhaps again? Cabal walked over to it and surreptitiously struck the case with the base of his fist by the coin slot. Nothing happened. "Stump up, Destiny, or it's a rendezvous with a hacksaw for you," he whispered harshly. The mannequin in the case immediately whirred into life obligingly, looked into her crystal ball, and stopped. A moment later, a card fell into the tray. Cabal took it and read, Madame Destiny knows all and sees all. You will meet a woman who has what she does not want. Give her a solution, and she will be generous. Madame Destiny's advice? Manners maketh the man. Cabal read it through twice before crumpling it up. He leaned close to the front of the cabinet as if putting a coin in. That is precisely no help to me, he whispered. What does she have that she doesn't want? A disease? Lice? A distinctive and irritating laugh? Give me specifics and save the meaningless generalities for the rubes. To the imaginative, the mannequin might have seemed to purse its lips. Certainly it ran through its little fortune-telling dumb show at an undignified gallop. The card spat into the tray with so much venom that Cabal had to stop it before it fell to the ground. This one read, Okay, Madame Destiny, etc. That woman has a baby who's driving her crazy, won't stop howling, no husband. Her mother's looking after it tonight. Give her an out and she'll give you her soul. Easy. Madame Destiny's advice. Try saying please in the future, you asshole. With the exception of the advice, it was exactly the kind of news Cabal had been hoping for. Bones, I want this arcade evacuated with the exception of that woman. Sure thing, said Bones, and moved quietly and surreptitiously around, handing out free ride tickets to all and sundry. Within 5 minutes, the arcade contained only Cabal and the woman, who was slowly feeding coins into a fruit machine called Fun Time, or so it appeared to Johannes Cabal, unaware of a figure in the corner who had forced himself into near transparency. Horst Cabal watched and hoped. In the row of penny tableaux was one covered by a tarpaulin and an out-of-order sign on the front. In truth, the Cabal brothers had run out of ideas by the time they got to that one, so it was actually empty. Now Johannes approached it, concentrated, and mouthed, I invoke thee, and pulled the tarpaulin away. Inside the cabinet was a tableau of a room. Within it was a tiny automaton that looked strikingly like the young unhappy woman. The room was a tiny squalid bedsit with laundry hanging from lines strung over a bath visible through an ajar door. The automaton stood by a cradle in which a tiny doll of a baby lay. Small it may have been, but somehow there was enough detail to make it clear that this was a child it would be hard for anybody to love. The tableau was entitled, The Mother's Escape. Folding the tarpaulin over his arm, Cabal walked to the far side of the arcade and pretended to be in conversation with the old man in the change booth. In reality, he watched the woman. Nor was he the only one. The young woman was disappointed when Fun Time started to hand lemons out with harsh regularity. Soon she was short of coins, and the reversal of fortune had depressed her. She left the machine and walked the ranks of its comrades. She would have to be heading home before long, she knew, and wanted some small piece of pleasure to bide her through the night. She saw the row of penny tableaux and inspected them one by one. They were all horrible. Tales of murder and execution, hauntings and harsh justice. Nothing that she wanted to know. She was about to leave when her eye fell upon the last in the row. Whether it was the title or the striking resemblance the automaton bore to her, or the tableau to her own bedsit, neither Cabal could tell, but it drew her inexorably. She stopped by the case and looked into it. It was strange. Dreamlike. It was as if somebody had taken her life, recreated it in wood, wire, and paint, and put it here, on public display. On slips of paper, aged and yellow, despite in truth being less than 10 minutes old, were written, The Unhappy Mother, and The Troublesome Baby, pinned to the tableau's floor in front of the respective subjects. Her eyes prickled. She wasn't alone after all. Somebody else must have suffered as she suffered for the story to be retold here. As she fumbled for one of her few remaining coins, another pair of eyes nearby prickled, grew moist, and silently wept. She had to know. She had to see how this other person had fared. The tableau was, after all, the mother's escape. How? How had she escaped? She needed to know with a strange urgency. She put the coin into the slot and dropped it inside. With a whir, the tableau came to life. The baby's arms rose and fell with mechanical rhythm as the head rolled from side to side, crying, demanding, never shutting up. In time to the baby, the mother put her hands to her ears and shook her head. She was at the end of her tether. Not a day went by when she didn't consider suicide. The woman rested her forehead against the cool glass and bit her lip. There was a distinct click, and the floor rotated by 1/3 of a revolution anti-clockwise, changing scenes. Now the mother stood in the bathroom. Using the washstand as a table, she was mixing something, powders and liquids from the cabinet. It was a strange thing, but although the largest bottle she handled was the length of a thumbnail, the labels were clearly legible. A jigger of this, a pinch of that, went into the mortar and were thoroughly mixed. When she had finished, the tiny mechanical mother poured the solution into a baby's bottle. The implication was all too clear. As she read the label for the scene, a solution presents itself. The amazing dexterity of the automaton never struck her as remarkable. She was living the little drama herself. She almost moaned aloud as click, the scene rotated again to its final third. Here was retribution, be it earthly or divine. She had seen too many of these machines in her life to doubt a moral outcome. But no. The final scene was of a graveyard. In her funeral weeds, the mother looked radiant as the mourners lowered a tiny coffin into the dark grave. And behind her handkerchief, was that a suspicion of a smile? The automaton looked out of the case straight into her eyes, and she saw her own face there. Happy. The label affixed to a convenient tomb read, inevitably, "The Mother's Escape." The machine made another click and returned to the hateful first scene. Barely had the whirring stopped before she was feeding it another coin. This time, when the second scene arrived, her lips moved as she memorized the ingredients of the baby's bottle. The police arrived an hour before dawn. Cabal was perfectly polite with him as he busied around and asked a lot of obvious questions. He was less happy to see that Barrow was in attendance. "I wasn't aware that you were a member of the police force, Mr. Barrow," he said, stifling a yawn. "I'm not. Just a concerned party," replied Barrow. "Well then," Cabal said to the sergeant in charge, "I believe I'm within my rights to ask Mr. Barrow to leave." "No, you're not," said the sergeant. "Ex-Detective Inspector Barrow is here at my request and is acting as a consultant in this case." "Ex-Detective Inspector," said Cabal, impressed. "My, you are a man of many parts. What case is this?" "There has been a murder, a particularly horrible one. The suspect claims that this carnival was involved." "A murder?" said Cabal, shocked and innocent. "An infanticide, to be exact," said Barrow. "A mother killed her own child. Claims that you have some machine in your arcade that tells you how to make poison." "Good heavens, really? You mean to say you didn't realize that your arcade featured such a machine?" "Oh, no, not for a second. We have no such machine. I was just surprised that anybody could concoct such a bizarre story, and that anybody would believe it." The sergeant bridled. "We have to follow up every lead, sir." "Of course you do. I understand entirely. Well, what else can I help you with? You have my word that there is emphatically no machine like the one you describe within this carnival. I've never even heard of such a thing." "The poison she made was a very cruel one, sir. The baby died in agonies." "Terrible." "She seems to have been under the impression that it would be undetectable," said Barrow. "She's only a simple girl. I think she's telling the truth in most respects." "Meaning what?" "She came to this carnival last night. The very same night she concocts a poison and uses it. I don't think she could have become Lucrezia Borgia at such short notice without professional help." "What are you insinuating?" The sergeant coughed. "The arcade, sir. If you would, we would like to look at the machines." "Very well, but you're wasting your time." Cabal led the way for the little entourage of 3 police officers and Barrow to the arcade. He unlocked the big padlock that sealed the entrance and stepped inside. "Be my guest." The party entered and stood in a huddle near the door while Cabal went around and opened the shutters. Barrow's eye lit upon the penny tableau, and he went to investigate, followed by the policeman. Cabal leaned against the wall in affected nonchalance. Barrow studied the row, reading the titles as he moved along it. The House of Bluebeard, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Court of Ivan the Terrible, The Haunted Bedroom, Tyburn Tree. Very grand guignol, Mr. Cabal, he said disapprovingly. It's what people like, replied Cabal. Mr. Barrow. Barrow had arrived at the end of the row, a machine covered with a tarpaulin and with a sign fixed to it. Out of order? What's wrong with it? I don't know. Something mechanical. Quite beyond me. We'd like to have a look at it, if we may, sir, said the sergeant. I don't think that would be wise. You have my word there is no machine like the one you have described. Isn't that enough? We'd like to see it for ourselves, sir, the tarpaulin, if you please. I really don't think I ought. That's as may be, sir, but if you'll pardon me, the sergeant quickly undid the tarpaulin and pulled it away. The machine was stuck in mid-action. On a moonlit street, an enraged husband chased a police officer down the garden path of a house. In an upstairs window, a woman with an unfeasibly large bosom mimed screaming with dismay. The police officer was notable for his uniform trousers being around his ankles. The machine was called Cuckolded by a Copper. The sergeant blushed. The little policeman looked really rather like him, a resemblance that wasn't lost on his constables. Worse yet, the woman looked a lot like Mrs. Blenheim on Maxtable Street, whose husband worked a lot of night shifts. Well, that would seem to be that, he said quickly while attempting to put the tarpaulin back. It kept falling off, almost willfully. We'll be on our way, sir. Thank you for your cooperation. You've been very patient. Not at all, Sergeant, Cabal said pleasantly to the officer as he left, shooing his smirking subordinates at before him. He watched them go and adjusted his spectacles. An interesting place, this carnival of yours, Mr. Cabal, said Barrow from behind him. Thank you, Mr. Barrow, he replied, turning. It wasn't meant as a compliment. Just a comment. An interesting place. This arcade, for example. Oh, Cabal raised his eyebrows. How so? These machines. Barrow pointed out the tableau. Horror and death the whole length. Then we get to the last one, the machine, incidentally, that the police was told was the one with the recipe for poison. And that one is a broad comedy. Odd, wouldn't you say? Out of place. People like that sort of thing, repeated Cabal. So I'm told. It was put in as an afterthought. An afterthought. Barrow walked to the door and looked out across the carnival, pondering. I don't like this carnival of yours, Mr. Cabal. It's distasteful. We can't guarantee to cater to everybody. That's not what I meant. When I was still in the job, I had hunches, same as everybody else. Sometimes they were right, and sometimes they were wrong. But sometimes I would have a feeling that came to me as an actual, bona fide bad taste in my mouth. Horrible taste. And unmistakable. I was once sitting in on an interview with a chap who was a possible witness in a murder case. Just a witness, you understand. Respectable man who might, just possibly, have seen something useful. And you got this magical bad taste of yours? In spades, and yes, he was our killer. But at the time, he wasn't even a suspect. That's the important thing. I had no reason to suspect him. Sure you got the right man? Not just a case forced through because you forgot to brush your teeth that morning? I don't think even the most rabid police conspiracy theorist would believe that we would frame a man by burying 4 bodies in the back garden and then building a rockery on top of them. A rockery? Cabal considered. No, that does stretch credulity a little. You may have a point in that case. I assume that when you say my carnival's distasteful, you are referring to this uncanny forensic palate. When I get home, I'm going to have a very strong cup of tea in the hope it'll wash it away. You do that, Perhaps one day criminological Epicurean evidence will be admissible in court of law. In the meantime, I shall bid you a good day. I should like a few hours' sleep, if at all possible." "Good day, Mr. Cabal," said Barrow, and walked back in the direction of the town. Cabal walked back towards his office sedately until Barrow was out of sight. Then he ran. He entered the car breathless, unlocked his desk drawer, took the topmost contract from the box, and put it in his inside breast pocket. "So she did it," said Horst, and Cabal jumped. "I didn't see you there," he said, putting away the box and carefully locking the drawer. "I didn't want you to." "She killed her baby then?" "Yes. Isn't it marvelous?" He stopped. "Not that she killed her baby, obviously." No, it's not obvious. It's not obvious at all. I presume you're going to go and offer her a way out of her dilemma." "That was the idea," said Cabal. He didn't like his brother's tone at all. Horst looked at him for a long moment. He checked his watch. "The sun will be up soon. We creatures of the night should be tucked away by then. Leave the day to creatures of the light." "You're trying to make me feel guilty. It won't work." "My little brother just engineered the murder of a child. There's nothing I can do to make you feel remorse if that didn't. I offered you a chance at redemption last night." "Sorry. My mistake. Father always said I couldn't spot a hopeless case." "Really?" Cabal pulled on his coat. "How unlike Father to criticize you for anything." Horst rose from where he was sitting on the blanket box, and Cabal fought to prevent himself shying away. "Don't be specious. You can't keep returning to sibling rivalry as an excuse for everything. Oh, don't blame me for my crimes against man, God, and nature. It's my brother's fault for being so perfect. No jury would convict." He smiled and sat down again. "Would you like to hear something ridiculous? When you came for me a year ago, I was glad to see you. It was my brother who'd come back for me after all. It had taken him a while to get around to it, but better late than never. Yes, you'd sold your soul and I'd become a monster, but apart from that, it would be just like old times." "And now you're saying you were wrong?" "Now I'm saying I was half wrong. I was wrong about which one of us had become the monster. This whole year, I've watched who signed those contracts, and I've said nothing because as far as I could see, they were going to hell whether they signed a piece of paper or not. Some might have been a little borderline, but not by enough to make me concerned. That woman last night, though, she never would have done what she did unless you'd suggested it. She'd have worked it out. Now she is damned whether she signs that contract or not. That's your doing. I don't doubt you've got some deal lined up for her if she signs. Do me a favor, would you?" "A favor?" "Just do what you're going to do and leave the contract here." Cabal frowned. "But then it doesn't count against the 100. Horst rested his chin in his hand and looked at his brother. He'd never dreamt that his brother could be so obtuse. "That's the point," he explained. Cabal looked at Horst as if he were mad. "Then there is no point." He clapped his hat on and left, slamming the door behind him. Horst looked at the door for a very long moment, then glanced over at the hourglass. The time was all but gone. A few grains of inestimably fine sand remained in the top bulb. "I'm sorry," he said quietly to himself. "I'm more sorry than you will ever know." Cabal arrived at the police station and made inquiries. He was sorely distressed that some poor woman, he managed to avoid saying soul at the last moment, had done such a terrible, terrible thing while the balance of her mind was disturbed. It seemed that the visit to the carnival had somehow provided all unwittingly, the impetuous for her psychosis, and while he naturally couldn't accept any liability, he really wanted to help any way that he could. He had to be quite insistent before he was allowed to see her. He was quite sure that Horst could have just walked straight in, and they'd have fallen over themselves to make him a cup of tea. Finally, with heavy hints that he would be paying her legal expenses, he was allowed in, alone. "Well then," he said finally, sitting down across a plain, square table from her. "This is a sticky mess you've gotten yourself into." She looked at him miserably, her eyes red from crying. "I'm afraid the authorities are going to treat you very harshly for this. You probably already realize that." She nodded and looked in her lap, where she pulled and worried a handkerchief endlessly. "They'll have told you that there is no such machine like the one you thought you saw at my carnival?" She gave no response. "The Mother's Escape, I think it was?" She stopped fidgeting. She looked sharply at him. "It was there, all right. I got rid of it the moment you walked out of the arcade. I'm sorry to say it was the most ruthless piece of entrapment I have ever been forced to commit. Yes, forced. You see, I really would be very appreciative if you would sign something for me. If you do so, you have my word that'll reverse what has happened. If you don't, well, you're obviously going to hell anyway. If you don't sign, the torment will start before death with a life sentence. I understand child killers have rather a miserable time of it." While he'd been talking, he'd allowed his gaze to wander around the room, the barrel window, the institutional green paint on the walls, some schedule of regulations framed and hung by the door. Then he looked at her and realized that if looks could kill, he would assuredly have been dead for some moments. She glared at him, teeth slightly bared, an expression of hot animal loathing on her face. She spoke so quietly, he almost didn't catch it. "Necromancer," she said, as if it was the worst word she knew. And at that moment, it was. "An inference is no proof of an implication," he replied, and produced the contract. "Do you want your life back such as it is, or shall I leave? I'm a busy man. A rapid decision would be nice." She looked at the folded paper as if its blank exterior would tell her all that she needed to know. Cabal laid it out flat, turned it so that it faced her, and slid it across to her. She looked at it, obviously not reading. Cabal had an uncomfortable feeling that she was going to start crying again. He drew his pen and offered it to her. "Sign. Now." She took the pen, and, her hand trembling slightly, she signed. Cabal walked out into the new day, the last day of the carnival. He needed one last soul, and had every chance of succeeding. Why, then, he wondered, did he feel so wretched? And that's the end of chapter 11. How we all doing? Those of you who have not read ahead, how do you feel about Johannes now? It's kind of a lot, right? Yeah, that's why I put a trigger warning for infanticide before I did this, because I was like, oh man, I'd hate to have, like, you know, someone who's had a miscarriage recently or something, you know, come in and be like, time to relax, listen to a good story, and then you get, like, something like that, and you're like, Horst is, I love Horst. He's my favorite. I would die for Horst. I simp for Horst. I do not care. Doesn't matter. This is really the turning point for if you liked Johannes, you're like, oh, okay. I'm like, Horst is the only one with morals. Yeah, it's a great book for making a character that you're really not supposed to like. That's like morally gray. It's like the Rick and Morty complex where, like, you know, a lot of dudes like Rick and Morty for all the wrong reasons, and they're like, yeah, I love Rick. And you're like, that's not what's supposed to happen here. And it's the same kind of people that would read this and be like, Johannes is the best. No, he's not. He's not. Oh, I'm just drinking water right now. Drinking water. I had all my coffee for the day, and I didn't get to make another pot before I started this live, so just water right now. Chapter 11 was the one we just read, and it's Johannes, Cabal, the Necromancer by Jonathan Howard. It's part of a 5-part series. Yes, water. I'm so glad you're here. I didn't see you in here before we started the chapter. Water, not even tea. I didn't get time. No, I was in the other room shooting content at 7:30. I had like a whole set of demon contacts in that I couldn't get out, and then I was running late, and I barely got the equipment set up right before this. I was like, is there a way to kick folks? Yeah, if you need to kick somebody, you can, I think it gives you the thing where you hit their name, and then you hit manage, and then you can hit block, is what it'll do. Ah, what happened? Did Sinfordinks just get blocked? What happened? What is going on? Wait. Sinfordinks, are you still here? What happened? What was going on? Did I hit the wrong thing? Did someone hit the wrong thing? I don't even know. I'm sure it's fine. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I was like, did they get muted? But yeah, chapter 11, pretty heavy if you want to pick up the book. It's really good. And also we're going to be reading through the short stories after this. Yeah, Sinfordinks, are you okay? Did you get muted? What happened? That was so weird. Okay. I was like, what happened? Glad you're back. I'm drinking water. I ate before I came in. I didn't have a whole lot to eat, so I'm going to eat again after this. It was way earlier, like a few hours ago. But I'm going to eat again. Just to preemptively tell you, so you know that I'm taking care of myself, promise. The sleeping is another story, but you know, you all know I have insomnia. It's terrible. But nourishment. Yeah, I don't know. You might have accidentally done it. Oh no. Yeah, like I just don't. I have so much stuff to do. Like, I'll tell you. I work Thursday through Sunday, and then at night I record audiobooks. And so like I get paid to record like audiobooks. So I have like stuff to edit and stuff to do. So I'm pretty much busy like all throughout the week. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday technically I'm off. But Monday is like my cleaning day. Like I do all my laundry, clean my house, do my dishes. Tuesday is like my me day where I shoot content and do all the things that I want to do, like cosplay wise. And I do these lives with you at the end of the day, and that's how I round off my experience for Tuesdays. And then Wednesday I is like my I spend it with my partners. Like that's what we do. And like I don't like compromising like that. So if you're wondering why we don't go live more often, that's why, is because I'm super busy all the time. Even in the middle of the night, I'm in here recording audiobooks with my backup microphone. Oh my god. I'm gonna knock everything over. Don't do that. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Here's my good microphone. Here's my good microphone that I use to record the audiobooks. It's going to really fuck up the backup recording that I'm doing this. Because I had the settings up for... I had the settings up for it being a couple feet away. But yeah, and so... Have I heard of the film Encanto? Yes. Have I watched it? No. Tuesdays are amazing now that I thought yesterday was Tuesday. It does look like an alien ball thing. Low key, yeah. But that's, I'm up all the time. I just don't get a lot of free time. I'm always busy. But yeah, I do like blocking out Tuesdays for these lives though, because I really like reading to people anyway, and it's kind of cool when you have like a live audience. Granted, I don't get to edit anything out, and I don't get to hide it when I like flub stuff up sometimes, but it's really nice to get like immediate feedback and like talk to you about it like while we're doing it, because you don't really get that experience when you record an audiobook. Like you don't get that like gratification of sharing something with someone immediately and then being like, no, yeah, I thought this and I like this and that. And it's kind of cool to like read it to you and then immediately like you guys are like, Horst this and this, that, and you know, like it's nice. So that's kind of cool. I really like Tuesdays and I'm glad you guys are liking the story. And if you're here and you're confused and you don't know what's going on, I'm reading everybody a story. It's called Johannes, Cabal, the Necromancer by Jonathan Howard. It's part of a 5-part series that we're reading. And each week we go through about 2 chapters, and we just finished chapter 11 and we're going to read chapter 12 before this live is over. And if you haven't managed to catch all the other ones, you can go watch the recaps that I post every Wednesday on my TikTok. I think they're labeled, not sure. I'm really forgetful when I'm editing things. But there is a YouTube, and you can also watch the full chapter read-throughs. There are a few chapters missing, and I'm working on that. I'm very sorry. I just don't get a lot of free time to edit. But you can check out that, and if you're really confused, and if you really want to, you can check out the book. It's a really great book. You managed to fall asleep? You know what? That's kind of half the goal. It's for you to get sleep. If this is your bedtime and you're going to sleep and my voice puts you to sleep, I consider that a compliment. So never think I'm going to be upset if you fell asleep in the middle of a live. Hey, yay. I'm glad I'm making everybody happy. I'm glad I relax people. The Japanese... Wait, I missed a comment earlier. I'm trying to find it. The Japanese VA in Encanto who plays one of the characters is... Oh! Okay, that's what I missed. Thank you, T-Galaxy, for that. I do not... I'm not a big Disney person. I don't watch a lot of Disney movies. And I've missed a lot. And Denki takes that as a personal offense. So... has been trying to get me to watch Disney movies. They did manage to get me to watch How to Train Your Dragon. And I did kind of like that one. I like dragons. But I'm not super interested in Encanto. And I've heard that one song, the Rats Along His Back song, like so many times. I am about to go insane. And I know everybody loves it. And hot take. People are probably going to be mad at me. Not great. Not great. I don't care. Token straight here. You kind of don't like it. See, I don't know if I'll like it or not. Like, I don't have enough judgment to do that. But one, if I'm gonna get the time to like watch like one thing a week, you know, I'm probably not going to pick Encanto. It's probably going to be Tokyo Ghoul. But it's probably going to be like an anime or, you know, like, and right now me and, Denki, like my actual Denki, my partner Denki, we're watching through, they're practically blackmailing me into watching all of American Horror Story. Which I like horror, but I'm not I wasn't the hugest fan of American Horror Story when it first started airing. I thought it was kind of like sensationalist and overdone and kind of cheesy. And they were like, no, you gotta watch it. And I was like, oh. So now they're making me watch all of it. And I'm kind of into it. Yeah, I'm cosplaying Shinzo. Yeah, like, and I guess from a certain standpoint, like, if you take it as it is and you aren't like a big horror buff, like, or if you just kind of sort of separate it from the genre of horror, it's better. Like, if you can mentally separate that part. But when you go into it expecting horror, you're like, okay, like, I get it, but also not really. Like, I get what you're going for, but it's not achieving it because you're making it kind of cheesy and dramatic and a little sensational. So, But I'm enjoying it, like, when I consider it for what it is. And I just like watching things with them, honestly. Oh, yeah. I had a hard part with Kevin. Like, we're on a hotel right now. We're watching them all out of order. We're just watching them in the order Danky wants to watch them in. So he's like, we're going to do this next. And I'm like, okay, cool. I have no input. We watched Asylum first. And we watched Freak Show. And then Coven. And now we're watching Hotel. And I like Hotel, probably more than a lot of the other ones. But yeah, I don't know. So that's, like, if I'm going to pick one thing to watch a week, it's probably not going to be a Disney movie. Like, I have so much anime to catch up on. You know, I still haven't even seen Demon Slayer. I'm going to get murdered by the weebs. Because I haven't seen any of the necessary. I haven't. And I don't like Haikyuu. So I'm just traumatized from volleyball. I don't like volleyball. So I'm going to get murdered by the weebs. Yeah. No, I have so much to catch up. I don't think you understand how busy I am on the regular. I do a lot of stuff. I commit myself to, like, a lot of things. And I try my best, but I still don't have a whole lot of time. So we'll watch through, like, an anime, like, a few episodes, like, each week. Normally after, like, on Wednesdays when I'm hanging out with my partners, that's what we do, is catch up on stuff that we like to watch. So we're watching, normally we watch wrestling every week. That might be a surprise interest that you didn't know I was into. We watch AEW every week. And then afterward, we watch, my pick is Tokyo Ghoul. My other partner's pick is, God, I cannot remember the name of it right now, but it's another anime that was never translated into English, and we have, like, a really weird fan dub of it. And, then my other partner's pick is American Horror Story. So we all, like, have a pick, and then we run through the gamut. And we just started the last season of Tokyo Ghoul. Yeah, wrestling, really. No, for real. I got my little wrestling wall over here. Yeah. Danky actually went and got me my favorite wrestler's autograph not too long ago, actually, and is right here. Yeah, so it was kind of cool. I have not seen Angels of Death, but I did have a mutual I was, like, talking with the other day. I did have a mutual I was talking with the other day who was telling me about it, and then I was like, I'm kind of upset that it's not, because, okay, angels of death is a popular term for doctors and nurses who would off their patients. I don't know if anybody knew that or if that was intentional, but they were like describing it to me and I was like, are they a doctor? And they were like, no. And I was like, why? I love Angel Beats. Why is the Angel Beats fandom dead? We need to talk more about that. I love Angel Beats. That's like one of my comfort shows because it's short and you can just like blast right through it. And it's just, and I'm sorry, Yui is the cutest thing ever. And maybe I just like everyone that's like cute and adorable and way louder than me. But yeah, I love Angel Beats. And the opener, I'm sorry, that opener is a banger. You're going to look me in the eyes and you're going to tell me that I'm wrong. That opener is a banger. It is really good. If you are not prepared to cry, don't watch it. I don't cry very often. Denki's normally the one who cries. Like, I'll look over and they're like crying at the end of every My Hero episode. And I'm like, are you okay? And they're like, Ari didn't know what Christmas was. And I'm like, you gotta stop. You gotta stop crying. I can't handle the crying. Angel Beats, I will cry at the end of. Almost against my will. Like, it will wrestle tears out of me. Yeah. Angel Beats is really good if you haven't seen it. It's heavy on death, but it's like comedic violence for most of the time, but it gets heavy faster than you would think it was. You're like, oh, this is kind of funny. And then it just slides straight down to like, you want to hurt today? And you're like, why? Why did you do this? I thought this was going to be a fun time. Also, Death Parade at the end will make you cry. You're going to have like an okay time all the way through. And then when you get to the end, you're going to cry. Probably. I don't cry a whole lot. And people have different triggers that make them cry. Like, but the quickest way to like make me kind of cry is like unfulfilled living is, I guess, like a weird trigger for me. I don't cry at a lot of stuff, but you take someone with a whole potential and murder them in front of me after I've gotten attached to them emotionally for at least 13 episodes, we're gonna have a bad time. Death Parade? Yeah, okay. Hi, Natalie. I love it when they're like, nobody eats Mabu tofu. And then she's just shoveling in her mouth. She's like, I didn't think it was spicy. I love her. We still have another chapter to read, you guys. So we're going to do that. That was a fun little detour that we went on there. Along with the crying and wanting revenge. Next chapter? Okay. You got it. Lady Eva runs this ship, you guys. All right, we're going to start chapter 12, and then we can have another chat at the end of it about the chapter and or anime, whatever you want. That's the fun point of these, is like, I come into this with zero plan. I come in here with 2 chapters to read and no thought out outline for the rest of it. The book that we're going to read, the book is called Johannes, Cabal, the Necromancer. And we have read 11 chapters of it already. And we're about to start the 12th one. And it's every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for about 2 hours. And then if you haven't seen the rest of them, or you haven't gotten the chance to listen to the full read-through, some of them are on YouTube. There's also recaps. There are a couple chapters missing because TikTok was stupid and didn't let me download 2 of the lives. So you can check out the recaps if you want to know what's going on. You can also have someone fill you in chat. It's about a necromancer. He sold his soul to Satan, and now he's trying to get it back, but he has to get 100 souls through a carnival, and we are on the last night of the carnival, and we're going to see what he's going to do, because he's getting real shady. So, hold on. It is, well, if I could, let me type a comment. What the? Oh my God. There you go. I can't see what people got when I have the comment open. It takes up half the window. So I'll post it in there if no one else did. I count on my mods to fill you in the meantime. But we're going to read chapter 12, and you can stick with us, or you can wait until you get the book, or follow up, or listen to the rest of them. Doesn't matter. You can stick with us. But people can fill you in. But we're going to find out what happens on the last night, and it's a ringer. Actually, I don't even think this is the last night. I think this is a weird detour. Like the one we just took. I think this is where he just sort of wanders around town. But it's really entertaining. I think so. So we're going to read it. Chapter 12. In which Cabal discovers some places are nice to live in, but you really wouldn't want to visit. Cabal patted the pocket containing the contract to reassure himself that it hadn't vanished due to some capricious event at the quantum level. No, it hadn't. He drew a deep breath. Some part of him had been rather hoping it might. He was tired, more tired than he can ever remember being, and for a man who regarded sleep as a necessary evil, this was very tired indeed. Despite it, he had no desire to rest his head. No doubt he was well past the point where sleep came easily. Besides, he might dream. He adjusted his dark blue spectacles and looked around. It was the first time he'd actually entered Penlow on Thurs, and what he saw depressed him. It looked absolutely idyllic, exactly the sort of place that folk dream of retiring to before they examine their pension fund and end up in a terrace next door to a psychotic with a dog, a baseball bat, and a sousaphone. It raised the question, where do the citizens of Penlow go to retire? Cabal didn't care. The place bothered him inexplicably. A postman shot by on his bicycle, smiling and saying hello as he swept down the road to a junction. Despite there not being another vehicle on the road for as far as the eye could see, the postman slowed, checked both ways, and signaled before joining the main road. A place where bicyclists, postmen to boot, obeyed the laws of the road. Cabal had seen many strange things in his life, of which the Walking Dead were the least. He'd run from his life from the guardian of the Solomon's Key, avoided the attentions of the Gargoyle Bach, and studied, although been careful not to blow, a bronze whistle upon which the words Quies est qui venit were deeply inscribed. None of these, however, had filled him with such a sense of hidden threat and foreboding as this polite and cheerful postman. All I need now is a friendly vicar, and I'll know I'm in trouble. He turned and walked into a priest, a man of gentle and genial demeanor in his mid-60s. I do beg your pardon, my son. I was just ruminating on my sermon, and he paused and looked at Cabal over the top of his half-moon spectacles. But you must be one of the people from the traveling carnival. I declare, how do you do? I'm delighted to make your acquaintance. I'm the vicar at St. Olave's just over there. He gestured toward a small parish church of heartbreaking architectural excellence and picture postcard grounds. Will you still be here on Sunday? Perhaps you'd like to attend the service. We've always got space for visitors. No, I'm afraid that won't be possible. You're moving on, no doubt. In my youth, such a peripatetic life had held great appeal. Now, however, he spread his hands and smiled so sweetly, Cabal was caught by opposing urges to strike him and adopt him. "We won't be here," replied Cabal. "That's true, but I wouldn't attend anyway," he smiled. "I'm a Satanist." The vicar smiled back. Cabal felt a need to check his own smile in a mirror to make sure it was still the thing of fear that he'd carefully cultivated for years. "Ah, me," said the vicar, infuriatingly unshocked. Cabal might as well have admitted to preferring spring to summer or a fondness for chocolate digestives. "And are you happy?" Cabal's large quiver of cutting replies proved unexpectedly empty. He had been ready for almost any response but sympathy. "No," he managed to say finally. "No, I'm not. It's not something I chose to be. It's more like work experience. I intend to give it up as soon as possible." Johannes Cabal the Necromancer. Sorry, taking a big break, and I happened to look up. "I shan't argue with your decision. Dear me, no, I cannot argue with your decision. It seems very wise to me. I must be getting on. I'll bid you a good day, sir." Cabal found himself shaking the man's hand, thanking him for his concern, and wishing him a pleasant morning. Cabal watched the vicar wander off in the direction of his perfect church and bet himself that the sermon would be perspicacious, amusing, and interesting. People would enjoy going to church. He found himself envying them. He stopped and inspected the sensation. What was wrong with him? He sat down on a well-sited and unvandalized bench and set about sorting himself out. He was almost glad when the little girl sat down at the far end of the bench. He loathed children and was glad that here, at least, was a situation he could trust his reactions in. "Hello," said the little girl, and smiled a gap-toothed smile brightly at him. Cabal suddenly felt broody. An insane urge to find a good woman and settle down and have a couple of kids, one of each, lit upon him like a thing out of a nightmare. Staggering to his feet, he managed a disjointed warning against talking to strangers before walking quickly away. He needed somewhere quiet to pull himself together. A short expedition into the churchyard resulted in a hasty retreat as his feet started to smoke. He'd forgotten about the danger of consecrated ground in his soulless state. That was another inconvenience he'd be rid of once he found somebody. Just one more person. It worried him that he'd forgotten about the danger. Combusting footwear was an experience that tended to stay with a person, yet that was exactly what he'd done. Blithely forgotten all about it. Seduced by the tranquility of the place, his sense of foreboding was deepening by the minute. "Hello, Mr. Cabal," said Barrow, happening upon him at the end of a short parade of shops. "You don't look well, if you don't mind my saying so." Yes, I do," said Cabal, drawing on some inner reservoir of animosity. "I'm always pale. Inspiration danced lithely out of grasp. "A pale person." "I'd noticed," replied Barrow without much reproach. "I didn't mean your color, though. I was talking about your air. You seem lost." Cabal looked sharply at him. "And what if I am? What is it to you?" Barrow smiled. Cabal was getting sick of people smiling at him. He was getting even sicker of the impulse to respond in kind. "It's my town," said Barrow. "We feel responsible for strangers here." "Do you? Do you indeed?" Cabal thought he was beginning to sound like an old man, vaguely peevish but without real rancor. His fire seemed to be going out. A desire to escape back to the carnival where he could be foul-tempered at a moment's notice was certainly within him, but it was being balanced, no, overbalanced, by an inertia to stay in Penlow. "I've got some good news," continued Barrow. "I was going to go over to the carnival because I thought you might like to hear it, but here you are, so you saved me a trip." "I had business to attend to," said Cabal, while he thought, "Why am I explaining to myself?" "Offering the girl help with legal expenses. Yes, I know. That was very kind of you." Cabal blanched. Barrow continued. I've just come away from the police station. I went there after I heard the news from Dr. Greenacre. The good news? Yes. Cabal looked expectantly at him, but no elaboration was forthcoming. Well? I'm sorry, said Barrow, shaking his head and smiling his accursed smile. I had the oddest feeling you would already know. Know what? Asked Cabal. But he did already know. The baby. It's recovered. It recovered from death. Remarkable. Children are so resilient. The doctor thinks it wasn't dead to start with, that the poison was really a drug that caused some sort of catatonic coma. Isn't that remarkable? Isn't it? And the girl? I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really know. Perhaps she might have been prosecuted for attempted murder. Might have? Yes, there was a kerfuffle at the police station when I arrived, and they've lost her statement. Really? Cabal shifted his weight carefully from one foot to the other. He didn't want to make the contract rustle against the other piece of parchment he'd brought away from there. This would be the statement in which she admitted her guilt. It would. Odd that. No statement, no conviction. Because she's denying it all now. Still, this little adventure might bring her around. She's not a bad girl, just a little out of her depth. She kept how miserable she was to herself, and folk will rally round now that they know. Penlow is a very close community like that, he finished significantly. Close, thought Cabal. It's positively suffocating. He noticed that Barrow was looking past him and followed his gaze. I like animals as a rule, said Barrow, but there's something about carrion crows that gives me the willies. The crow had obviously got bored of hanging around the carnival and come to investigate the town. It sat on a nearby wall that somehow looked a lot less scenic for the addition. It looked at them, first with one eye, then with the other, then, to show it was a polymath among crows, it went back to the first eye. Come here, crow, said Cabal. With a delighted cry of "Cronk!" the bird flung itself from the wall, and flapping its wings with more noise than an ornithopter made out of a telescoping umbrella, it landed on his shoulder. It looked around smugly. Barrow seemed impressed. I would never have guessed you were good with animals, Mr. Cabal, he said. I'm not. He nodded sideways at the crow, which seemed momentarily to consider pecking his ear and then thought much better of it. There are two ways to get an animal to obey you. One way is through kindness, and then there's... He looked sharply at the crow. The near irresistible desire it had been feeling to take off with his nice shiny spectacles suddenly evaporated. Instead, it tried to grin in a charming, inoffensive, non-spectacles thieving fashion. It wasn't a pretty sight. The other way, finished Cabal darkly. Cruelty? said Barrow with disapproval. Cabal was honestly surprised. No, he said. Threats. Yeah, I struggled with that one for a second. I thought threats were for blowhards and cowards. Well, when you're dealing with people, yes. Animals seem to take them in the spirit they were meant, though. Barrow was looking at him strangely. Or so I found, finished Cabal a little weakly. Yes, well... Barrow looked around for something to change the subject. Do you like the town, Mr. Cabal? Like, Cabal considered. I'm not sure I'd use the word like. I've been through many little towns and villages with the carnival, and I can honestly say this is a unique place in my experience. It's so nice, he said it as an imprecation. It is nice, isn't it? Replied Barrow, choosing to ignore Cabal's tone. The clock of St. Olave's struck the hour, startling the crow into the air. 10 o'clock already? What? Cabal couldn't believe it was so late so early. Time flies when you're having fun, eh? Cabal was too taken aback to deliver a hard look. It can't be. I only just got here. It's a while before the pub opens, but we can get a pot of tea and some buns at the tea shop, said Barrow. Cabal hadn't been in a tea shop and almost longer than he could remember, nor did he have any great desire to break his fast of old-world tweeness, yet, for reasons he was incapable of remembering later, he allowed himself to be steered into the church tea-rooms by his elbow, and never said a peep. It was left to Barrow to make small talk with the waitress, to order the tea and buns and some other fancies, and he suspected to pay. Not that he thought Cabal was tight-fisted by nature. No, you have to know what money means before it has significance one way or the other. Barrow doubted Cabal cared about it in the slightest. They remained in an unrestrained but neutral silence until the waitress came back, deposited the tea things, and bustled back off to the kitchen to tell her mum that Mr. Barrow was talking to one of the funny folk from the carnival. Cabal took off his blue smoked glass spectacles, folded them carefully, and placed them in his breast pocket. He looked very tired. "So, what's life like?" asked Barrow. "Life," said Cabal quietly. "It's like a wisp of smoke in a tempest." There was a lengthy pause, during which Barrow looked at Cabal, and Cabal looked at the little pot of clotted cream as if he expected it to do something. "I meant," said Barrow, "what's life like running a carnival?" Cabal started to say something that might have become, "How should I know?" but turned into, "How shall I begin?" "Challenging, very challenging. Fate," he said the word pointedly, as if he were on poor terms with it, "always has some little surprise or other in store for me. One tries to be prepared." He looked at Barrow, and Barrow was surprised that, just for once, his gaze held no malice at all. "Expect the unexpected, eh?" Cabal almost smiled. "A trite saying, and one without even the advantage of being practical. I keep an open mind and try to stay flexible, but the future remains a mystery right to the moment it becomes the present. I saw a fortune-telling machine in that arcade of yours." "No help?" "Not much. Recalcitrant, too." He looked up at a print of an 18th century hunting scene and fell silent. Barrow wasn't sure if the comment had been intended as a joke. Somehow he doubted it. Cabal abruptly said, "I disapprove of hunting." Then, without a word, he dropped a slice of lemon into his cup and filled it with Assam. Then, slightly to Barrow's surprise, he did the same for his cup, too. The possibility that this wasn't how Barrow took his tea didn't seem to occur to him. Barrow was struck by the paradox. Cabal was prepared to serve him his tea, but not to check whether he liked milk or lemon. As it happened, he didn't much mind either way. Cabal took a sip. "How do you like your tea?" asked Barrow. "Very nice, thank you." Cabal watched the few tiny leaf fragments that had gotten through the strainer settle at the bottom of his cup. "I used to like Lapsang Souchong in my adolescence." He looked Barrow straight in the eye, and Barrow almost expected him to add, "And now you know my secret. You must die." Instead, he finished, "I can't imagine why. Its perfume is too much for me now." He put his cup down and proceeded to smother a scone with cream. Barrow watched the careful precision of his hands, still in their black kid gloves, and thought Cabal moved like a surgeon. For want of a conversational gambit, he expanded on this. "You don't strike me as the carnival type, Mr. Cabal." The cream knife hesitated for a heartbeat and then continued. "I've met a fair few different types of people in my life, and I think I'm pretty good at summing them up." "I understood that you'd retired from the police force, Mr. Barrow," said Cabal. He made a curious motion with his wrist as he drew the knife along the side of the pot, and every last vestige of cream was neatly wiped from the blade as if it had been freshly washed. He drove the tip into the jam, took a blob encasing a strawberry back to the scone, and deposited it neatly in the middle. The result was so precise it looked like the work of a machine. Cabal repeated the action with the knife and laid it, spotless, on his side plate. Cabal raised the scone to his lips. "Old habits die hard, it appears." He took a careful bite. Barrow persevered. "You're a very serious man, Mr. Cabal. You don't strike me as somebody given to frivolity. If I were playing a game of matching people to their jobs, I wouldn't have got you down a carny man in 1,000 years. Not 10,000. Not a game you should play for money, then, as a matter of interest. A doctor. cut in Barrow, anticipating the question. I've impressed you with my flashing bedside manner, then. A pathologist, to be exact. Cabal studied him seriously. You see me working with the dead? Barrow poured himself some more tea. It's hardly a great leap in imagination, now is it? Look at you. You go around with a face like a wet Wednesday, dressed all in black and frankly lacking something in charisma. Even funeral directors have to be able to deal with people. Barrow smiled. Cabal didn't. The funny thing is that in my experience, pathologists are often nice, jolly people. They do an ugly job, but that's all it is. A job. They leave it behind when they go home of an evening. You, though. I don't think you've ever left work at work. No, said Cabal. I always take my work home. I've got several clowns under the bed and a man who can belch the anthems of 12 nations in the wardrobe. Ah, but as I've already said, is that your work? Of course. With the help of my brother, I run a carnival. You can't have failed to notice it. It's that big thing down by the railway station. He finished his tea and put the cup down onto its saucer with a harsh click. Which is where it should be now. Thank you for the tea, Mr. Barrow. It was very pleasant. You must visit the carnival in reciprocation, perhaps for a change, when it's open. He produced a card from thin air. Learn a couple of conjuring tricks, Horst had told him. People like that sort of thing. And gave it to Barrow. A complimentary ticket, courtesy of the management. Barrow accepted the card with a nod. As he read the few words on its face, he asked, May I have another? My daughter, Leonie, loves the fair. Cabal produced another 2 tickets. Come one, come all, he said without inflection. Bring your wife as well. Barrow took 1 ticket from Cabal's hand and put it away with the first one. I'm a widower, Mr. Cabal. Cabal put the extra ticket in his pocket. It was intended to vanish, but he'd had so little practice at this trick that, to the untrained eye, it simply looked as if he was putting the ticket away in his pocket. I'm sorry, he said. He seemed to mean it. Thank you, said Barrow. Cabal spent a long moment refreshing their cups, his intention to leave apparently forgotten. Once more, he didn't ask Barrow how he took his. As he plucked slices of lemon from their little plate with the tongs, he asked quietly, Do you miss her? He didn't look at Barrow as he said it. Every day, replied Barrow, accepting his cup back. Every day. Life can be cruel. It wasn't life that took her away from you, said Cabal, looking at him directly. There was an even intensity in his eyes, like the gaze of a man who walks into a room where he knows he's going to see something awful and has braced himself for it. Fate, then? Death. Death is your enemy. My enemy. Life can be cruel, that's true. Death is always cruel. Death can be a release, said Barrow. Watching Cabal talk now, he had a sensation reminiscent of watching somebody open a Chinese puzzle box. Part of it was wonder at the complexity. Part of it was curiosity as to what lay inside. Release, said Cabal venomously. Release be damned. That's just doctors' talk for failure. At least they're at peace now. They've gone to a better place. All those lies. You know what's waiting? I'll know soon enough, said Barrow. I'll just enjoy life while I can. Cabal leaned forward. I know now, he said, caution gone. One place is run by a bored, disappointed sadist. The other, spiritual transfiguration. Do you know what that means? It means having everything that you ever were stripped away, bars of light, too intense to look upon. He unconsciously fingered the smoked glasses in his breast pocket. Homogeneity incarnate, can you imagine that? That's what the heavenly host is. Countless thousands of bars of light, souls burning all the same, your personality lost forever, immortal souls. It's this. Countless thousands of bars of light, souls burning all the same, your personality lost forever, immortal souls. It's the final death. Sacrifice to a mania for order. He looked around at the middle distance, his disgust a palpable thing. Lambs to the slaughter. Barrow put his cup down. Why do you hate death so much? Cabal seemed to rein himself in. I don't hate death. It's not a person. There's no grim skeletal figure with a scythe. I try to avoid hating abstracts. It's a waste of effort. That's not what it sounded like a moment ago. You sounded like a man who could kill death if he could. Cabal checked his pocket watch. I despise waste. That's all. That's not all, said Barrow, and instantly knew he'd overstepped a line. Cabal got to his feet, straightened his coat. Good day, Mr. Barrow, he said with stiff formality. I've enjoyed our little chat, but I have things to attend to back at the carnival if you would forgive me. He turned on his heel and went out. Barrow shook his head. He had the strongest feeling that whoever Cabal really needed forgiveness from, it wasn't him. He'd met all sorts in his time, but never anybody quite like Johannes Cabal, and he was beginning to think fate had been kind to him up until now. He dropped some money on the table and followed Cabal. Outside, he saw Cabal walking determinedly in the direction of the station. He was debating whether to follow when he was arrested by a cry of, Dad! He turned to see his daughter, Leonie, leaving the hardware shop. He instinctively knew that she had been buying the hinge for the shed that he had complained about yesterday with the words, I'll have to get around to that one day. And with Leonie, one day was tomorrow, except on those occasions when it was today. She came over smiling with the joys, and Barrow, who had the occasional pang of existential angst, was reassured that his life had been worthwhile. Oddly, though, something lay darkly over the familiar happiness that Leonie inspired in him, like a single small but impenetrably dark cloud on the face of the sun. He turned his head slowly in Cabal's direction. Cabal was standing stock still on the far side of the village green, staring at him. The intensity, the unblinking directness of the gaze unnerved Barrow. He'd once been faced with a rabid dog, an animal that he knew could kill him slowly and agonizingly if it bit him just once. They had stared unblinkingly at each other, not 10 feet apart, as Barrow slowly, and by touch alone, broke, reloaded, and closed his shotgun. It had continued to stare at him as he brought the gun to his shoulder and sighted carefully down the double barrels. The sensation that he had felt, a horrible sensation of the dog's burnt and chaotic mind communicating its madness to him through its gaze like a basilisk, still woke him in the early hours in a cold sweat. As Cabal stood, motionless, staring, glaring, some of that sensation returned to Barrow, and he shuddered involuntarily. The realization that Cabal wasn't looking at him at all released him from his paralysis. The realization that Cabal was actually looking at Leonie proved unexpectedly confusing. Unable to draw any conclusions, he left his next action to conditioned reflex. Perhaps, unfortunately, his inclination was towards politeness. Taking Leonie's arm, Barrow walked over to where Cabal was apparently rooted to the ground. Mr. Cabal, he said. Cabal's eyes never deviated from Leonie's face. Mr. Cabal, I'd like to introduce you to my daughter, Leonie. You own the carnival, said Leonie, recognizing the name. Oh, I love fairs. Mr. Cabal has very kindly given us tickets, said Barrow, patting the pocket that contained them. Thank you, Mr. Cabal, said Leonie. I really do adore carnivals. We only tend to get the little traveling ones around here, though. Nothing you could call a big professional affair. I am so looking forward to tonight. Cabal looked fixedly at her. Smoothly, as if possessed by a will of its own, his hand moved to his breast pocket, withdrew his spectacles, shook them open, and put them on. Seeing the world through smoke-tinted glasses seemed to shake him out of his paralysis as well. Thank you, Miss Barrow. We're very flattered by your interest. He spoke slowly and with curious emphasis, as if his mind were elsewhere. Barrow watched him closely. Leonie was a good-looking girl, even allowing for a father's pride. That was plain to see. But surely Cabal wasn't smitten. The thought of a romantic streak in the sinister Mr. Cabal was disconcerting, even distasteful, especially if his own daughter was the focus of the interest. Man, that was loud. Whoops. How long are you here? Asked Leonie. Here, repeated Cabal tonelessly. This is the last night. Then where are you going? Then it is the end of the season, said Cabal. There was a finality in the way he said it that Barrow doubted was deliberate, and that was all the more suggestive for it. Leonie was talking again. Well, we mustn't miss our chance. You can be sure we will be there tonight, Mr. Cabal. Barrow smiled, and it didn't even get within scenting distance of his eyes. He was distracted by the sure knowledge that there was something going on that he didn't like. He could taste one of his famous hunches, and it held the flavor of a beached whale. He sincerely regretted introducing Leonie to this man. He sincerely regretted accepting the tickets. He sincerely regretted that he would have to disappoint Leonie by making her stay at home tonight. But why? It was later, and they'd gone home after saying goodbye, Cabal and Leonie once again reassuring him that they'd certainly be there tonight. Barrow had just mentioned casually that he would prefer it if she didn't go after all, hoping vainly that she might just accept his wish. No such luck. It was shaping up into one of their rare, and all the more unpleasant for it, arguments. Nothing ever happens around here, she said. She seemed hurt, as if he were asking her to stay out of sheer malice. There's something wrong about Cabal, about this whole carnival. Things are happening, unnatural things. But you know why that is, said Leonie, as if he were being deliberately stupid. Rufus Maleficaris, the Necromancer. He's trying to ruin the Cabal carnival. We know that. Maleficaris is dead, pointed out Barrow. But he's a necromancer. That's the whole point. Life after death after life. They should have burnt him, but they didn't, and now he's come back. Do you really believe that? Life after death after life. Something in the words provoked the glimmer of an idea. In Barrow's mind, cogs of pure thought started to form from the chaos of unordered data. We've seen the newspaper. It happened at Merslaw. The Cabal brothers are heroes there. They're not making it up. She shrugged and shook her head at his stubbornness. It was a gesture she'd learned from her mother. She didn't know it, but it was a knife in his heart every time she did it. He blinked the pain away and tried to marshal his arguments. They weren't having it, and remained an undisciplined mob. Look, I'm not arguing about this. You're not going. What? She couldn't believe he could be so intransigent. Of course, the crowning point was that she was a grown woman, and he really couldn't stop her if she decided to go. That, however, wasn't nearly so important to her that minute as understanding as why he was even trying. What happened to hearing both sides of an argument? All right, let's hear your side. My side? My side is that I want to go to the carnival because I want to go to the carnival. It's fun. I would like some fun. It's your side that's lacking. I've told you. You told me you don't like Mr. Cabal. Fine. I think you're being silly, but if you insist, I'll avoid him. I don't want to go for his fascinating conversation. She saw her father fight a smile. Cabal had been all but monosyllabic when she'd spoken to him. I just want to go on the ghost train, throw balls at nailed down coconuts, and have a bit of fun. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, what can possibly happen? She looked at her father and felt her anger cool a little. When all was said and done, he would die for her, and they both knew it. What can possibly happen? Barrow sighed. Here was the crux of it. I don't know, he admitted. I really have no idea. Maybe nothing, but he took her hands in his. Maybe something. Try to understand, when I was still with the police... No, hear me out. Leonie had rolled her eyes at the mention of his old job. When he was satisfied that he had her attention, he continued. When I was with the police, I came across all sorts. The criminals, 9 times out of 10, it was obvious. They forget what morality is, real morality, that is. The stuff that lets us get along with each other. They can mimic it like a chameleon can mimic the color of leaves, but that's all it is. Mimicry. They've forgotten what it is to think like everybody else, and they get things wrong, little things, but you get so you can scent them out. Little mistakes. Everything that they do, everything they say is riddled and rotting with mistakes. Leonie looked at him, worried. He couldn't tell if she was worried by him or worried about him. Are you suggesting that Johannes Cabal is a criminal? She said. No, not at all. Not in the way that you mean. I actually think he's a very moral man. I just don't think he's using the same morals as everybody else. I think this was it. He'd painted himself into a corner, and 1,000 lazy reporters and ever so sincere politicians had rendered the only word that he could use comically melodramatic. I think Johannes Cabal is evil. Leonie looked at him in disbelief. Evil. The word had lost its power through overuse. Now it just meant incomprehensible to the uncomprehending. Barrow wanted to explain the complexities of it, this language of suffering that he had learned at countless crime scenes and in too many interview rooms. The serial killer and the serial burglar shared far more than either would like to admit. The need that has to be fed until next time. The need that results in the suffering of others. The easy justifications. They shouldn't have left it unblocked. They shouldn't have gone down that alley. They shouldn't have been dressed like that. Barrow had heard it all, and he'd always smelled the sour smell of a failed human. Cabal, though, he was of another order altogether. There was almost a nobility in the corruption of the spirit that Barrow was sure was there, was sure that he had detected. There was something different, though. If he could just put a name to it, he was sure that he would understand Cabal all the better. Evil, and as far as he had experienced it so far, was always selfish. It had always just an extension of the most stupid behavior of the infant playground. It's mine because I say so. It's mine because I take it. Belongings, sexuality, life. But not in Cabal's case. Barrow played with words mentally as he tried to explain to Leonie what he meant. Cabal's was a what? Evil? Clinical, displaced, remote, deviant, altruistic? Altruistic? How can evil ever be altruistic? It's against its nature, Barrow said, thinking out loud. Evil? Leonie was still stuck on the word. It wasn't one her father used often. In fact, she couldn't remember him ever using it at all. Are you serious? I'm serious when I say I don't want you to go to the carnival. He tightened his grasp of her hands. I'm scared for you. I'm scared for every person who walks through those gates. You are serious. She nodded slightly, and her trust in him closed the distance. I won't go. After she had gone, Barrow reached into his pocket and studied the 2 tickets. You, he said to one of them, are surplus to requirements. He threw the piece of pasteboard into the fire. You, he said to the survivor, are going to get me inside that carnival tonight. Then we shall see. He went to the window to reread the printing on the ticket. As he turned his back on the fire, he failed to see the ticket that he had thrown there flutter up the flue. It seemed miraculously unburnt. Indeed, as it made its way up the chimney, even the scorch marks faded away. 3/4 of the way to the chimney stack, it made a difficult turn and headed for one of the upstairs fireplaces. Leonie sat by the window, looking off across the fields in the direction that she knew the carnival to be. Unseen, the ticket fluttered across the room and landed on her desk. It found itself a good, obvious position and practiced looking alluring. And that's the end of chapter 12. We only have 2 more weeks of this, guys. And the book 1's over. How are y'all feeling? I mean, the ticket is damned. The ticket is damned. Yeah. So, what book was I reading? Johannes Cabal, the Necromancer by Jonathan Howard. As part of a series, we've read 12 chapters of it so far. So, if you don't know what's going on, there is a link to the YouTube in my bio. It has some of the chapters. 4 of them are missing right now because TikTok wouldn't let me download the live for some reason. But I think we've got that sorted out. I think we've figured that one out. And in which case I have a backup recording going on the laptop right now. So, and there's also recaps each Wednesday where I go through the 2 chapters that we read the previous week. All the recaps should be every Wednesday if you want to go through. I think they're labeled, but I'm not sure. I'm terrible at labeling things. But yeah. This isn't a book you would have picked for yourself, but you're invested. I am glad you're here. I hope you're liking it. Even if it's something that you wouldn't proactively read. I like it's a good book. It has a lot of, even if you're not super into, like, there's something to appreciate about it. Whether it's like the vocabulary or the vernacular or the characters and the way they speak. Like, to me, it's just, there's something in it. There's something in it. It's crack. No, it's not crack. It's the dry humor for you. Yeah, same. I like dry, dark humor, and it's got a lot of sarcasm and, yeah. Nody is here. I don't know when Nody got here, but glad you're here. Now we're going to get this party really started. Nody's here. I'm going to... I ran out of water. So we're going to drink smoothie. Yeah, I dipped into your... I did. I drank water. I was drinking water before we started. I was in Nody's live earlier, too. I dipped in there. I'm glad you could join. Yeah, it's a smoothie. That's what it is. But yeah, next week... it'll be the official last night of the carnival. So that's going to be fun. And we only have 2 more weeks of this book left, you guys. We're almost done. We've read a whole book on TikTok. Which is a weird place to read a book, but I'm having a good time with it. And I'm glad that the people who consistently show up are liking it. Hydrate. What is happening right now? Smoothies are great. Yeah, they are. It's definitely not 8% alcohol. Yes. Okay. Well, funny story about that. Well, it's not fun, but it's a story. Yeah, Lady Eva was like the first one in line. I think they were like the first. They're normally the first to show up every single live. They've been to every live, which is kind of awesome. I count on them actually a lot. Lady Eva runs this whole ship. So but funny story about you saying that you ordered the second book, which we are going to read, because people seem to be liking the series. But we're actually going to take a minor detour because there are, oh, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. Sorry if people were gifting me things while I was reading. I don't often look up. So It's know that I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. If you gave me anything while I was looking down, appreciate you. What was I going to say? Oh, right. The thing about it is that we're actually not going to, thank you. We're actually not going to read the second book right away. We're going to read some short stories because, funny story, Johannes actually wasn't supposed to be a book series. It was supposed to be a wow, oh my god, the whole bottom of the screen cropped off. That lit me up for a second. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Johannes wasn't actually supposed to be a series. It was supposed to be just a short story. And it was called Johannes Cabal and the Blustery Day. Thank you. I appreciate it. Finger hearts. So we're going to read the original short story that started it all. And a couple other ones that will make sense to you if you have kept us company during this first book. There are 3, I believe, that take place before the first book even starts. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I got cool glasses. Okay. They take place before the first book even starts, actually. So, that'll be fun. If you liked Rufus Maleficaris, 2 of the books feature Rufus heavily. So if you thought that was funny... Also, thank you for the necklace. Appreciate that. One of the reasons Rufus and him know each other before is because of something Johannes did. And you get to see how they met and why he's mad. And like all this other stuff. It's really funny. And so the 3 short stories, if you can find them and locate them, because you can find them and locate them in some places. I think they're ebooks. And some of them are harder to find than others. I had a really hard time finding one that we're going to read. But 2, I think you can locate pretty easily as ebooks. One is the original Johannes Cabal and the Blustery Day. And the second one is Exeunt Demon King, which is the first one with Rufus Maleficaris Sr., actually. And then there's another one, and the one that's really hard to find is called the Reshkugelworking, which I had... Oh, thank you for the crown. I really appreciate that. Y'all are being so nice. What's going on? What's going on? I don't understand what's going on. I'm suspicious. But I love you all. So thank you. But the Reshkugelworking was only listed in like a horror or fantasy anthology from like 2000 something. And you could only buy it that way. So I bought a whole book of stories that I have not read that I just bought it for the Reshkugelworking because I couldn't find it online anywhere. I couldn't bootleg it. Thank you for the little hand waves. It was so nice. But I couldn't find the short story anywhere, so I had to like dig around for like a copy to buy, to purchase. There's another one that was only that we're gonna read later on called like House of Gears, and it's really hard to find. Like it was only listed in like a horror zine from like, if you know what a zine is. So that one's hard, but we're not going to read that one yet. We're just the 3. We're going to go through Blustery Day, Exeunt Demon King, and Reshkugelworking, which are pretty short. We actually might be able to get through Blustery Day and Exeunt Demon King in one go. Like, in one Tuesday. Maybe. Reshkugelworking is a little bit longer, so I don't know if we'll be able to get through like that and another story at the same time. But it's they're good, they're funny, and I hope you like them. And then we're going to start the second one, promise. I just wanted you to have a reference for Rufus as a character because Rufus is funny to me. And Reshkugelworking is one of my favorite short stories. So I hope you enjoy it. So we are going to read the second one, but we're going to take a minor detour into some other Jonathan Howard stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't really call myself emo. I am very tired. Yay, I'm so glad Lucy was here. Lucy could join us. Lucy is a total MVP. Love that cat. When Lucy wakes up, don't tell her now. Don't wake her up for it or anything, but tell her that she's precious. I said that she's amazing. Yeah, that's all it takes. That's the only requirement. Is that you have to have a certain amount of black clothing and be tired, I guess. I don't know. If that's what it takes, then I am emo, but I don't think. I'm too lazy, I think. I'm pretty sure emo takes work. Aw, yay. Yay. That kitty is the best kitty. Okay. If you didn't know, Insomniac has got a beautiful cat. And as we all know, if there's one thing in this life that I love more than coffee, it's cats. Hi, glad you could make it. It's a little late. We were reading a story. We're not anymore. Now we're just chit-chatting. But I hope everyone liked the chapters. Does anyone want to talk about what they think is going to happen if they haven't read ahead? What do you think is going to happen? Nodi is barred from answering. Telling Alice you're seeing other cats. I'm not seeing other cats. That makes it sound weird. Also, I haven't met Lucy in person, but I'm sure if I met Lucy in person, I would have a fantastic, whatever, hands down. It would be a great day. You know, I love all cats. No cat is exempt from me loving it. Against its will, probably. You want to stay, but your phone's on 20. You can go charge that thing. You don't have to stay. If it's gonna, hey, you gotta go, you gotta go. But I appreciate you being here for the time that you were here. Yeah, it's gonna be wild. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad someone hasn't read ahead, because there's so many people who've like, I bought the book, I read ahead, and I'm like, oof. So you know what's gonna happen. Yeah, T Galaxy can't answer either, because T Galaxy read it before I think they even came across my live, which is even cooler. They were like, I've read that book. No one I know has read this book. I've been responsible for introducing it to everyone. And then I have to wait for them to read it. I don't get to talk about it until they finish, It is gonna be chaos. How am I today? I'm good. I'm a little tired. More tired than usual. But I'm fine. What chapter are we at? We just finished chapter 12, so we're going to start with chapter 13 next time. So if you want to get the book, and you want to read it, and you want to read up until where we're at, read up to chapter 12, and then stop, because we're going to go through 13 and 14 next week, and it's a great book. You sort of start feeling a sort of way about it after a while, especially after the chapter the chapters we just read, you're sort of like, do I want him? Because at first you're like, yeah, okay, no, get your funky soul back, guy. And then after a while you're like, do I want him to? There should be a book in Horst POV, but there's well, you'll find out. there is something. Okay, you know what? Never mind. It's fine. We're no spoilers, but I do want to. Oh man, I love Horst so much, and I am so happy that you also love Horst. Just hang on to the Johannes is an anchor. I'll go ahead and say that. Like, you feel a sort of way about him. He's kind of a shithead, but he's not a complete shithead. Anyway, stuff happens. It's gonna be great. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. It's gonna be so satisfying for me. I don't know how it's gonna feel for you. I always Tuesdays and Wednesdays, low-key favorite day of the week. Because Tuesday I get to do everything that I want to do. Like, I get to get all this. I save up all my energy for Tuesday. Nobody can tell you. Any other day of the week, I'm like. Because I don't have to, like. I get on these lives and I'm like, yeah, it's great to see you. And then in public and with real people, I'm like. But like, I save up all my energy for Tuesday. Loki, not gonna lie. May you join for a moment to show me something important. Oh, you mean like spoiler, it's Alice related? If it's cat related, all right. Okay. Sure. Okay. What you can't just Snapchat this to me? What is it? What's happening? Is Alice okay? Oh, you're leaving Discord on Tuesdays for this? For real? I'm privileged, but like that's kind of like an honor. I couldn't pull Dinky away from like their Discord for nothing. Well, I could, but you know, try not to pull that rank too much. What, what, I forgot how to do the thing. What do you want to show me? And also, I can't, where's the button? I'm afraid I'm going to shut down this live if I press the wrong button. What the okay. What is this? Add, oh, there we go. What is this? Yes, okay. There we there we go.
I had Alice in a very key position.
Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta take my microphone out. Hearing the dumb, okay, take that. Why are you hearing it?
So, get this. I had Alice. Everything was going Gucci. Everything was great. But then she decided to try and commit suicide. She, like, swan dived out of my arms.
Probably because you're wearing that dumb Nicolas Cage hoodie. I'm getting you out of here. You gotta go.
No. Wait, hang on. No. Wait, I got you. Hang on.
I'm gonna delete Pinky from this call.
No.
I gotta delete.
No, I'm taking it off for you.
Are you taking it off? If you come back up with another Nicolas Cage article of clothing,
what if I got a new shirt?
Crap, I am ending this live.
No.
I am not. That thing needs to go in the trash. I've said this multiple times. I've tried hiding it.
You've had so many opportunities to trash it. And what have you not done? You have respected me.
One, throwing people's articles of clothing in the trash is kind of a low-key thing for me. It's kind of a trigger. But I'm never going to take your clothes and throw them in the trash. That I will never do. Will I hide it? Yes. Would I bury it under stuff so it'll take you ages to find it again and then I won't have to go through this? Yes. But.
Okay, first off. Sorry.
Yes, that dumb pillow. That dumb Nicolas Cage pillow.
First of all,
I hate it. I hate it so much.
All, I'm upset because I didn't think about the shirt I had on and I had to change that too. Because I
Do
feel
you
like
have a
you would have
Nicolas
also
Cage
gotten a little
shirt
hurt.
on? Do you have a Nicolas Cage shirt on too? I'm gonna have an aneurysm. I'm gonna have an aneurysm. Why did I let you on this
You
call?
say this, but you and I both know you enjoy my company. This is what happens when you choose friendship with me. And there has to be a normal. There has to be a normal shirt over here. Oh yeah. Hang on, I can't hear you. I'm changing.
Why did I do this?
But I do have something else important to show you. Alice is being just like rude right now, so I can't really show you her, which I apologize. I didn't mean to like catfish you there.
You promised me a cat, and then you came on. There was no cat. There's just you and a Nicolas Cage hoodie.
I explained the situation. Also, would you have accepted my guest request if it had been anything else?
No, and now I feel like I've been lied to.
No, and you'll get Alice. You'll get Alice. Hang on. I just have to change so you don't want to kill me. You know, I prefer hanging out with you while I'm alive.
You have 5 minutes.
I'm literally.
5 minutes. I'm timing you. Did they just leave? Yeah, Nody disappeared on everyone's end. I think they just do that as a joke. I'm starting to feel like I've been had. This is not funny. Okay, it's a little funny, but I'm upset. Probably. Does that mean I'm going to accept their guest request again? No. They've shown I cannot trust them. They made promises that they did not deliver on. Oh, Nody came in, said, no, I'm not doing this again. Also, they keep knocking out the Wi-Fi. No. Do you? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're really gonna try this again? I don't believe you. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You double cross me. Everybody gets one. Don't believe you. I don't believe you, and I don't trust you. Danky, stop. Danky, stop. Stop. It does. It does. I got promised a cat, and I got Nicolas Cage, which I did not want. I'm not trusting it again. I don't know why it's so funny for you. I know why I'm irritated. I didn't get cats, which is what I wanted. I literally don't believe you. And I'm not trusting you. Not again. We're not doing that again. Everybody gets one. You got your one. You wasted it. I do have cats. I have 2 cats. They're lovely cats. One's named is Pond, and she's a big fat queen, and she acts like it because she knows it. She knows the power that she has, and she's ready to rule. And Bella is a little demon. President Pond, yeah, she's gonna run for president 2024. Bella is a little demon. She's her little kitten cat, and she's black and white, and she enjoys terrorizing our birds, slapping our dog in the face, jumping on the baseboards for the door frames, and sliding down the wall slowly. And anytime she is in a room that you are in and you close the door, immediately begs to have the door opened, only to then stay in the room until you close the door again. So that's the other cat in a nutshell. Yeah, it's a demon. Look, nobody would love to see Alice more than me. Do I have confidence that we're going to see Alice? No. Do I have confidence that we're going to see Danky do something dumb for 5 minutes? Yes. Yes. The best. She's the best demon, though. Bella is president demon. She's vice president demon. I don't believe them. No, I'm not letting Danky in. I'm just going to do something. No. It's going to be something else. They're going to be holding like a Virgin Mary relief, but it's going to be like Danny DeVito. And I'm not having that. You know what? You can do that shit on your own live. You don't have to come into my live, take over my live just to do your whatever the hell you're doing, annoying me. What's my favorite animal? Cats. Cats are probably my favorite animal. I love cats. I also like snakes. I have a snake too. I vividly remember when Danny DeVito was all over my house. I found another Danny DeVito not too long ago, like a couple of weeks ago. I found another Danny DeVito and I was like, what? I was so mad. It was in my knitting basket. I do. I have a snake. Her name is Maggie. She's named after Blind Mag from Repo. And she likes mice escaping into the couch and choking me. Yeah, we have a lot of pets in this house, actually. We have a dog, two cats, three birds, three rats, and a snake. Yeah, Maggie's great. I've thought about, oh God, I cannot remember his name for the life of me. But I was just kicking around the idea of doing, the snake guy from Black Butler season 3 from the circus, that guy, and just hanging out with my snake. Yeah, I have birds. Well, normally the rats hang out in the other room, and they also like to just run all over the place, no cause or reason. Although all our rats now are hyperactive, but I used to have a rat who was a little sweetheart, and he used to just sort of chill in my hoodie pocket and in my hood, and so he would chill there for hours. I could just cart around with him everywhere. I think one time I forgot he was in my hood, and I went into the Walmart, and then he like poked his little head out, and some woman was like, but he's adorable. Yeah, that's the one thing about rats, though, is when you get like attached to rats, they don't live too long. Like they're not like cats or dogs where they can live, upwards of 10 years. They have a short lifespan. So you're only guaranteed like max, I think we've had a rat was like 4.5 years, and he was old, like geriatric. Like he was going blind, he couldn't move. It was really sad. But yeah, rats don't live very long. So that's the trouble with rats is you get really attached to a rat and you love him and you name him Wormtail after a traitor and then you let him ride around in your hoodie pocket all the time and then he dies and you're kind of upset. You're a lot upset. You have a cat, two wiener dogs, and two sugar gliders. That's cool. Sugar gliders like need like a lot of attention though, don't they? Like you have to like really like that's why they always tell you to get two is because they really need like a buddy. They need a buddy. If you have like one on its own, like they'll get really depressed, right? Yeah, they're prima donnas. Heterochromatic cats, yes. Cats with two different color eyes are so pretty, I think. Yeah, they really have to have buddies or else they're not gonna like oof, you know. You have a dog, his name is Simba. I love the pet conversation we're having right now because we have a lot of pets. You just have two parrots. Oh yay, my Dinky's in here. That's my real life Dinky. They're in the other room. I have four cats and three dogs, but I want a snake, but my mom doesn't like snakes. My mom didn't like snakes either. Oh, thank you for the things. Awesome sauce. Really appreciate it. I have a cat, a dog, and share a horse with your mom. That's the thing that me like we for sure don't agree on. Like horses, man. I don't know how you do it. I admire you for it, but horses. But horses. There's a cat. Whoa, whoa, hold up. I missed a comment about a cat game, and we got to figure out what this is. We got to figure out what this cat game is. Cat game, you collect cats. It's pretty chill. Thank you for the chill cat game recommendation. I'm gonna look that up. Not a horse. I knew you were gonna go there. You don't understand. My real life Danky went off about horses one day. Just Danky just went off about horses and complained about horses for like 20 minutes. And then made a giant Twitter thread where they canceled horses. Just canceled horses on Twitter. And is the weirdest Twitter thread I've ever read. But it was a great Twitter thread. You're gonna have to go follow them on Twitter because I can't go through all of it again. I also am using my phone on this live, so I couldn't look up the Twitter thread if I wanted to without tanking all of you. You have to be crazy to work with them? Yeah, I firmly believe that. And I think you're crazy. Oh man, Danky, drop your Twitter in the chat. They gotta know about the horses. But if you didn't look, oh yeah, they got their booster today, their COVID booster, so they are totally out of it right now, which I can understand. I'm gonna get my booster here soon too, and then I'm gonna feel like crap. So we're all going to get our boosters. Stay safe, guys. Get your COVID vaccine if you haven't. Wear a mask. Just be nice to people. COVID booster is brutal. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm kind of hesitant. I was gonna do it today, and then I was like, am I gonna be able to go live if I get this booster today? Because I don't know how bad it's gonna be. Also, thank you for the glasses. Yeah, there we go. There's the Twitter. If you want to check out the Twitter rant about horses. I don't know how we got here, but I'm really liking it. I'm liking the vibe we've created today. Oh, thank you for the rose. I appreciate it. No, because I was supposed to. Yeah, that's what I was worried. Thank you, Anime Lover. I appreciate that. You're so nice. I think that just got the shots a few months ago. Yeah, so do we. So like we're just like, well, because we're going to like an event, we're going to a thing that's gonna have people, and we don't want to be around people and get, we don't want to get COVID. So we're like, we should get our booster before we go. So we're all getting it now before we go to the thing. Oh, my Danky, like my real life Danky, my partner who's in the other room, canceled horses on Twitter a while back, and we were talking about it because Insomniac works with horses. And Danky canceled horses. Just went off one day. So that's what we were talking about. And they put their Twitter in the chat. Yeah, sorry, people heavily quoted. Yeah, that's kind of how it works with me. Um, they deserved it. They went on this big rant and they were like, "You don't understand. Horses are assholes." And I was like, I wasn't questioning any of this. I asked zero follow-up questions and then they just kept going. And I was like, kind of into it, so I just let them rant. I like listening to them like go off about stuff. It's like half our relationship. Yeah, no, literally canceled horses. They were like, I'm canceling horses on Twitter right now. Like that's the verbiage that they used. I did not select it. They did. You live above the barn where the horses are 90% sure I've had your Twitter. Well, they didn't put it in the chat, so Dinks put it in the chat. Broke into the house and was eating Twinkies in the kitchen. Wait, the horse was the ex's horse broke into the house and ate Twinkies? Do they make Twinkies anymore? When was this? Oh no. Oh no. No. See, and the thing is, the horses can't easily break and could go wherever they wanted, really, if they really wanted to. Like, jeez. I thought they stopped, but why did I think they stopped making Twinkies? Was it, did I, did I just forget Twinkies existed for like 20 years? That's the problem. How are you going to stop them? You can't. You can't, right? They did for a little while. Okay, okay. I was like, where did I hear that? There were just no Twinkies. And then I just stopped seeing them. And then someone told me that they didn't make Twinkies anymore, I think. And then I was like, what? Yeah, okay, good. I didn't just, you know, conjure that one up. I don't want to gaslight the internet into thinking they didn't make Twinkies anymore when they do. What? You're just throwing stuff at horses? Okay, no, okay. I will say my my stepdad, he's not really a dad or a stepdad. He's not anything. But he used to deal with horses and he used to like one time he was like, yeah, if they're doing this or some insert behavior here, he was like, you crack a water jug on its head. And I was like, what? And I don't know if that's true, but he said he used to work with horses. I don't believe anything he says, but I don't know. You can't stop them. It's terrifying. This black horse. Oh, okay. God, but oh God, if a horse reared up at me, I don't know what I would do because I don't I'm not qualified to deal with that. You are though, so better you than me. I don't know if I could deal with horses. I used to think like horses were cool in theory, and then in practicality, like my mother tried to take me to get a picture taken on a horse for some reason, and I hated it, and I frowned on all the pictures, and she got mad. And she was like, "Why are you frowning on all these pictures?" And I was like, "I don't. I want to be here." Jeez. Yeah, I remember you telling me that one time, and it still gets me. Like, how do you just like another horse in the mouth so hard? He is insane though. It does. It would scare. It scares. It's like, why are you that poor toothless horse? I would probably also want the teeth. You get me. I would also want the teeth. Though, okay, you never told me the horse's name was Shelby. Why did they name the horse Shelby? You have a couple horse teeth. See, I'm really into taxidermy stuff. Never mind. You know what? It doesn't matter. You've seen my brain in a jar. You know, I've showed you the new cool syringe I got from Danky. Thank you for all the roses. I really appreciate it. Oh, did you? Oh no, wait. There's there's one the Twitter. I don't. Okay, I have a Twitter, but it's not under Anxious Undertaker. I don't think. I don't. Is it? I don't even know. Hold on, I gotta check. I was like, I'm pretty sure because I made my Twitter like years ago. Your Twitter will lead to my Twitter. Yeah, that probably makes yeah, that tracks. That tracks. And they probably did find my Twitter. Actually, it wouldn't have been that hard if they found your vid showing the teeth. Yes, show me the teeth. Show me the teeth. I would love to see the teeth. Yeah, please don't dox me. Nobody dox me. Please don't do that. I'm an AEW fan more than a WWE fan. Like they just don't. I don't know. They're not. They're not with it with me right now. Look, if WWE is your thing, cool. I hope you have fun with that. But we're an AEW household. That would make sense. Hey yo, you did maybe find my Twitter. That tracks. Don't dox me. No. Don't do that. Gonna have more of the smoothie. No, stop. Don't dox me. That's so rude. You're in the next room. I know where you sleep. You're an FBI agent. You know what? If my FBI agent is in the chat, welcome. We're reading Johannes Cabal the Necromancer. I'm sure you've read it if you're my FBI agent. Join us next week for chapters 13 and 14 if you want to relive it with us. You want a smoothie? I ran out of water. And I didn't get to, I was going to make coffee for the live like I normally do, and then I didn't get the chance because I was acting a whole wackadoo in the next room. Yeah, like doxing is like when you find out someone's like real name or address or phone number, private information, and then just like put it online for people to abuse and like come find you or harass you. It's not cool. Don't do it, please. I would appreciate it if you did not. It's not really a smoothie. I do kind of want a smoothie though. I was just joking. Because I don't want to get banned from live for I don't know if they care if you're drinking it. I guess not. It's an 8% smoothie. Who in the right mind would do that? A lot of the time people like when they think you're like an asshole do that, or like a lot of people like with political leanings that they don't like, they'll do that. It's just yeah. I don't know why someone would do it to me. I'm just cosplaying on the internet, but you never know. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes people are just like, douches. Why? Why would you type those lyrics in this chat? What's happening? What is happening in my chat right now? Why are we doing that? That's Kirishima's favorite song, not mine. No. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Twitter is crazy. Twitter's nuts. I'm not on Twitter so much. I'm on wrestling Twitter. If you follow my Twitter, I don't tweet that much. And I'm normally just like on wrestling TikTok. Like, or wrestling Twitter is like, that's it. I just catch up on all the wrestling tea. Yeah, also same. If you follow us on Twitter, there's just a lot of wrestling content. We keep those parts of our lives separate. We don't bring our wrestling crap on here, and we don't bring our cosplay crap on Twitter. Keep them in their places. I do want to try the French press coffee. You know I want to try it. Absolutely want to try that. It's probably best you don't, honestly. You don't need a Twitter. Twitter is overrated. Oh man. Oh yay. French press.
Shit, it's so good. It's
yes.
the blonde, but it's just like perfect. Like frothy on the top. Fucking.
Dinky brought me coffee.
It's the best thing in the world. You can't have it.
So sorry, I was going to steal it. My apologies. You can has. You can has it. Oh my god, my phone. It went nuts there for a second. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Gross.
Sorry, I jumped in your live right as you were talking about horses and had to make it all about me. I gotta go deal with bird crap.
All right. Dinky brought me coffee for a second. You wanted me to try the French press. Yes. My Dinky, best Dinky. I love my Dinky. He's my real life Dinky. Everybody thinks I think low key people think me and Nody are dating. We're not. We just know each other and we live in the same town and we both enjoy cosplay. My actual Dinky lives with me and they also cosplay Dinky and they are my real life Dinky. Oh, I'm sorry you're having a bad day, but I'm glad you caught us. We were just chit-chatting now. We read the chapters already. I'm going to post a recap for tomorrow. No. Why did that come up on the top of my screen? But I'm glad you're here, and I hope your day gets better. You're drinking hot chocolate? Not a big hot chocolate fan. It's just I respect it, though. Maybe I'm not making it right. maybe that's what it is. Because I'm just you just heat up chocolate milk. What is different? What is different? I don't understand. It's fine. I don't need to understand. People enjoy what they enjoy, and I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, we get a French press, and we're super excited about it. Anyway, have I watched Arcane? No, it's on my list because at first I was like, what is happening? Because I get it. I thought it was from League of Legends. And then I was like, what do you mean have I, because I kept getting stuff. I was like, have you watched Arcane? And I was like, have I watched it? Watch what? And then someone told me they made a thing and I was like, all right, I'll put it on my watch list, but I haven't. But it's there. I'm gonna catch up sooner or later. I'm gonna watch all the stuff that I'm missing. I just haven't. Me and Denki have been watching American Horror Story. So like I said, we don't get a whole lot of free time, and we concentrate on one show at a time, and we blast through that, and then we migrate to the next thing. But hot chocolate's too sweet. I also, I'm just not a huge hot chocolate fan. I like apple cider. If we're talking about a holiday, like a seasonal sort of drink, apple cider I'll drink. I like apple cider. Ah, what is going on with this wire? Why are you like this? Ah, my equipment's being super weird. I'm not going to touch it though this time. I accidentally hit the button last time and it messed everything up because I didn't know what button I hit, but the light was still on. So I was like, I don't understand what I've done, but nobody can hear me. Apple juice. Yeah, I guess it is just kind of like apple juice with like seasonings. You're just like gonna add some cinnamon and some, like coffee is always first, yeah. In my book, if I'm gonna rank it, coffee's always gonna be up here. And I got some really great coffee recommendations. Tea Galaxy gave me another recommendation that I haven't gotten my stuff for yet, but I'm gonna get that next. And I'm so excited. I don't know. I don't. Okay, look, the thing is that I don't do melatonin. Denki's in the next room drinking their coffee. That's actually really good, and I'm not a big of a fan of the blonde coffee, but it's good though. And the French press is better than normal. I am not a Satanist, no. Thank you for asking. I didn't take that as a personal attack. Satanists are just a different breed of people, like they're cool. I respect everyone's religion, just don't, come at me and down my throat with it. Like just don't press it on me and I'm fine. But I'm not a Satanist, no. And I do like boba. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I just had a thought. Oh, the necklace. Yeah. Now, I'm not a Satanist. It's a pagan symbol. I'm pagan. Hi, hello. Glad you could join us. And it's on its last legs too. It's really threaded thin. It's gonna break. But yeah. But that's a pagan symbol. You're Christian. I respect it. My mom's Christian. I just don't like it when people, because I'm not going to try and convert anybody to like Celtic paganism. So I just don't expect anybody to come at me and be like, you need Jesus. Like, it's fine if you think that. You can just keep it to yourself. I should sleep. Yeah, probably. Am I? No. Yeah, Deathly Hollows is on my neck. I got that before J.K. Rowling came out as a TERF. So I'm a little bit disappointed. Am I upset? No. A little. No, yeah, I am. I'm pretty disappointed in the author, but I still like Harry Potter. And I have a couple of Harry Potter tattoos. Yeah. Yeah, I misspoke. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're all a little bit disappointed. I love that creator on here. Who's the creator that does fake skits with J.K. Rowling all the time? I love her. Cecilia Gray, I think. I love them. I'm a huge fan of them. Yeah, like, and the Etsy creators, like, I'll still support like Etsy creators. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a person who's, making their own stuff and they're making a, because, oh, also another reason I don't like J.K. Rowling. I'm a pretty active person. I do like a lot of different stuff. I do yoga and I work out, and I used to be part of a running group, and I run pretty consistently. Well, not normally when it gets cold because my ankle starts acting up because I broke my ankle one year and it doesn't do well in the cold anymore, and I'm always afraid I'm going to roll it. But I used to run marathons before I broke my ankle, and I was part of a running club. It was called the Hogwarts Running Club. that was on Facebook. I'm not really on Facebook anymore, but it was on Facebook. Or it's still on Facebook. And it was really cool. We used to have events throughout the year. We'd run marathons together and we'd train together. And then you could pick whichever house you were sorted into and join that house's common room, which was just a different Facebook page for like all the Gryffindors and the Hufflepuffs and the Ravenclaws and the Slytherins. And we would compete several times throughout a year. Thank you for the roses. And through like different races. We would have marathons that were like themed. They would send you a medal and it was really fun and like really cool. And it was a good community for like encouraging if you lack the sufficient motivation to get stuff done, like it's a good group for that. Like if you really wanted to stay motivated, it was a good group for that. And we used to have charity runs. Almost every single run would have like a charity that was behind it, where it was a nonprofit organization. Like apart from like the cost of like organizing everything and the medals, no one did this as a job. It was a fun thing and it was a nonprofit and they would donate a bunch of money to charity. And J.K. Rowling tried to sue the group, or Warner Brothers tried to sue the group, because Hogwarts is trademarked. So we had to change the group name of a charity organization. So yeah, I was like, Hufflepuff. Hi, Hufflepuff. I'm a Gryffindor. But yeah, and it's called like, it's still around, but it's called like the Potterhead Running Club or something now. It's something different. But that sort of put like a sour taste in my mouth regarding the whole thing. I was like, you're gonna sue a charity organization? And I don't think they even knew about it for the longest time until one of the charities that they did was Lumos, was her society, and that's what brought it up. And we were like, we just did an entire race with like millions of people that pay and participate, and you get like a huge donation to your charity, and then you turn around and you're like, oh yeah, you can't use that name, we're gonna sue you now. No, you're done. You're done. But yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, it's probably still around actually. I still get notified that there's races and stuff. And I have like a wall of medals right outside that door. That for races that I've ran with them. And we used to have this huge, really cool event every year that was called the Quidditch Cup. And all 4 houses would participate. And then they would get the top 10 runners from each house that ran more or logged more miles than anyone else, and offered them the chance to be the snitches in the game. So they would leave their house. They wouldn't run for their house. They would run for the snitch team. And the other players from the other houses would try to have to keep up with their mileage every day. And I was a snitch one year. That's how much I used to run. I got a shirt, it has a snitch on it, and it says a snitch. It's black. It was a racerback tank top. I was really proud of that, actually. I really messed up my knee that year. But it was really fun. Anything... Well, that is not cool. I bet the holidays were kind of rough for you. It is really cool. If you run or want to get in like better shape or like get better cardio, it's a great group. I highly advocate for it. But I still will run like minor races for them, but I don't do the Quidditch Cup anymore. I broke my ankle. Not from running. I broke it doing something else, but now I just can't run the way I used to. I used to have a whole lot of fun doing it, and now I can't keep up with my own self. Well, Thor's a god. Also, All Might has a time limit like, until he, deflates. So I'm gonna say Thor. Yeah, same. I don't want to give anybody my zodiac sign low key because then you might work out when my birthday is. And it's cursed, and no one's allowed to know when my birthday is. I don't celebrate it. I don't want anybody else to celebrate it. So we're not talking about it. No, absolutely not. Y'all just are going to have to guess, won't you? Favorite zodiac sign? Is this a trick? I like Aquariuses. They're really weird and creative most of the time. And I live with an Aquarius. And yeah, that's probably my favorite. Number one favorite. We're not going down the list. I'm not making a list. Am I a Leo? Why would you ask that? Why would you offer? I'm not telling you. I'm not confirming it. You can think what you want. But I think it's suspicious that you asked. No, I'm joking. You can speculate all you want. I don't want to tell you my birthday though. And I don't want to make it any easier for anybody to figure out my birthday because then you might figure it out. And things always happen on my birthday. Bad things. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of my own birthday. I'm barely a fan of me. So you can't because then you're just going to run the gamut. And if I say no, then you're just going to narrow it down. I'm not confirming or denying any zodiac signs that you put in the chat. I know this game. I know what's up. You're not getting it out of me. I'm great at interrogations. Have fun. I believe you. I have a friend who's a Gemini, and he is very nice. Well, I say he's a friend. We haven't spoken in like years. No, I'm not telling you my birthday. I'm not telling you my zodiac. You're going to narrow it down, and then you're going to know, and I don't feel comfortable with that. The more people who know about the curse will then in turn become cursed. Stop. Quit saying I'm a Leo. You can't know that. I'm not confirming or denying. Do you have me on Snapchat? Is that how you know that? Don't answer that. I'm not a Leo. You're an Aries? Okay. No, I'm not a Leo. Nice guess. You can think I'm a Leo, though, if you want. Because who knows? I could be lying. You have Aquarius in your chart. I like Aquarians. Well, one of my partners is an Aquarius. What kind of snake do I have? I have a ball python, and she's lovely. And tomorrow is feeding day, so... Is that because I said I was a Gryffindor earlier? Are you making a joke? Is that supposed to be funny? Y'all are wilding out right now. I don't know if I appreciate it. Aw, happy birthday. I'm glad you were spending it with us. You could have been anywhere and done anything. And you're here with me. So that's nice. Oh, she sounds pretty. Oh. Happy birthdays in chat. Who's a Capricorn in here? Is your birthday coming up? Let us know in the chat. If you want people to know your birthday, unless you're like me and your birthday is cursed and you don't want to curse the internet. We're not doing that. I'm not cursing anybody in this chat right now. That's bad vibes. Not about it. I am gonna go here soon because I know it's getting late, and I wanna make my own French press coffee. Yes, so excited about this French press. We already did that with the what? Oh, no, no, the recording on the laptop stopped. There we go. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you know what? I think that's the real thing. And we're barely surviving here. We don't need to be worrying about who's a Virgo or not. I'm not a Virgo. But we don't need to be worrying about, let's concentrate on that. Everybody get your booster and or vaccination. Let's get with it. Let's get with it. What did that say? No, I missed it. Missed it. So-and-so said something, did something up at the top. Oh, well, if it's important, I'll know later, won't I? Yeah, let's move on. Talk about something else. We've been through everybody's pets. Which I might actually cosplay the snake guy from Black Butler. I don't know how great of a reception I'll get for that, but I just want an excuse to hang out with Maggie on camera. So 2020. What, Black Butler or this energy that everybody's got over the Zodiac thing? Because if it's Black Butler, I get it. And also, I don't care. I just like my snake. Wait, is that a negative on the taxidermy? No, we're always positive on tax. This is a taxidermy positive space, okay? What was the first anime I watched? The first anime I watched, I believe was Yu Yu Hakusho was the first anime I ever watched. Either that or Gundam. Early Gundam. Yu Yu Hakusho, I think, was the first, though. That was the first I ever remember watching it. And it's a huge nostalgia trip for me now. Because I went on a Hot Topic the other day. Because we were trying to find clear, like silicone tunnels or plugs that didn't have tunnels in them. But we couldn't have them be any hard substance because Denki works with dogs. So we were trying to find that. And I saw Yu Yu Hakusho merch in the Hot Topic. And I was like, what gear is it? Your first anime was Sailor Moon. I remember Sailor Moon when I was a kid too. Yeah, that was one of the big ones. It was Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, Gundam, and Sailor Moon were like the big four, the original four. Oh, gross! Stop eating it then. Gross. Why? Yeah, Dragon Ball Z, yeah. Dragon Ball Z came shortly after Gundam for me. And then I didn't watch GT though. I did seen Super, like which was really cool when like Super was coming out, and we were like, yes, there's gonna be more Dragon Ball. So we watched all of Super, and that was really fun. Inuyasha is your end all be all. I oof. I made a video, but I didn't post it. You know, like your first anime crush talking to your now anime crush or your present anime crush. And I didn't post it because I was embarrassed because my first anime crush was Moroku from Inuyasha. Why is that? Why are they always the same characters? And they're the complete opposite of me. I'm like why? Your first was D and Angel? Ah, it's been ages since I've seen D and Angel. Uh, ah, I'm not sure if it's on Funimation or Crunchyroll, actually. Is it beautiful or is it sad? Because I'm not sure which. And you know, my current is Dinky. I'm the worst. Why do I do this? Both. Yeah, it's sad. I'm sad. I'm a sad individual. Everybody was like losing their crap over Inuyasha or Sesshomaru, respectively. And I was over in the corner like, the dude with the hole in his hand. I like that one. I like that idiot. Same in Yu Yu Hakusho, everybody was like really about Hiei or Kurama. You wanna know? You wanna know who I liked from Yu Yu Hakusho? Kuwabara. He's so nice. He's so nice. And I'm not nice. And I think that's what I need is I need like one nice person that's not going to care if I insult them. That's well, if my life has told me anything about that, it's you know, I'm just really sarcastic and most of the time I don't emote that much. This takes a lot out of me actually, the lives cuz I try and be like hype and nice. And I'm normally not. Like if you meet me in I hope none of you ever meet me normally in public. You will not like me anymore. That will very quickly change. I'm just very deadpan, I think, is the problem. But yeah, I think I just like every character that is the complete opposite of myself. But yeah, Kuwabara. No one liked Kuwabara. I was the only person I think I've ever met in my entire life that was just like, I like the loud idiot. He's so nice though. He's the only one with the moral integrity. He's the only one with the moral integrity that just like, you know, stabs me in the chest. I think that's what it is. Even Kurama is selfish. Like he's still like, you know, this is for my human mother. It's still you have an invested interest. Kuwabara is just doing the right thing because it's the right thing. Kuwabara for life. Don't care. Don't at me on this. Do not make fun of me. Not because I'm fragile, just because I don't care. See, my favorite from Yu-Gi-Oh! Was Joey Wheeler. My favorite character is Joey Wheeler. And that tracks. I guess, yeah. Yeah, I chose Shinzo because it's more natural for me to cosplay Shinzo. Just because I can't, I don't, I don't know. I don't think I could have the energy to cosplay like a really like exuberantly nice character. I, but yeah, that's why I chose Shinzo. And honestly, like that's why I chose most of the characters that I cosplay is just like I just cosplay my kins. I don't cosplay anything else. I'm not gonna be the one person that's cosplaying the whole arena of Class 1A. We're not doing that. God, if I had to get in a Mina, I think I would shoot myself. I'm not gonna shoot myself because I'm never getting into Mina. Yami Yugi and a Shizu. You like the Pharaoh. Joey is awesome, and I also love him. Joey, we get a lot of Joey. Yeah, see, people are okay when you say you like Joey. People don't have the same energy when you tell them you like Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho. That's that's something else. They're like, whoa, then you're a problem. I've done Dobby, and I want to do Dobby again because I also low key can Dobby, and the main problem is the makeup. The makeup takes 3 hours, and I only have one day to cosplay. So I would have to do it on a Tuesday. And if I'm getting into Dobby, there's no way we're going to have story time with Shinzo. You're going to have story time with Dobby, motherfuckers, because that shit's not coming off. It's not coming off. I can't. I can't just get out of it. And like, okay, because by the time I wake up, do all my thing, eat, get ready, get all my makeup on, which takes forever for about 3 hours. I'm going to have maybe 3 or so hours worth of making content, and then I would have to rip all of it off, which hurts, by the way. All the hair that is on your neck is gone. It's just, you're just gonna that right off. It hurts and it's time consuming. And then I would have to put Shinzo on and then get on live. And there's no way. There's no way. So I have no idea how I'm going to cosplay Dobby again, but I'm hoping like either one time I can do like a special episode if you want a story time with Dobby instead. That would be fine. I would do that, but it's hard. It's a hard story time with Dobby, yeah. But I've done Dobby, and it's been a long time since I've done Dobby, and which is so terrible because I had a follower send me the the actual Dobby like jacket and everything in the whole cosplay. They sent me it and I have been dying to get into it. But the makeup, guys, it's so exhausting. By the time I get into the makeup, I'm too tired to do anything else. I don't know how Dobby mains are doing that regularly. But the thing is like the whole thing is like when you put that much latex on your neck and then you rip it off. Well, you leave it on for a certain amount of hours and then you take it off, right? You break out. Like, I mean, and I'm not allergic to latex. I just mean like the heat and like everything else, the sweat, and you move it around. The makeup that you have to put in there and do all the things with. it makes you break out. Like, I'm still broken out from the last time I did Dobby, and it's been months. Months. I don't know how Dobby mains, who have to like get into cosplay semi regularly for them to be consistently putting out content, are doing it without absolutely ruining their complexion. I would be, I would love to know their secret to not breaking out. And there's a Dobby cosplayer that I follow that I'm a huge fan of. And I'm trying to remember their at, but like they cosplay, they release regular content as Dobby, and they always look flawless. And I am such a big fan of them. But I don't know how they're doing that. I don't know how their face is surviving that long. And I would love to know what they use on their face. You can barely put on mascara. Well, and you won't relate to every character. Sometimes you watch a show and you don't click with any of them. I've done that before. I watched like an entire show where I'm just like, I don't really vibe with anybody on this show. And you can still watch it and enjoy it. And when you find like that character, you just sort of know. You're just like, oh, that's me. That's me. That's unfortunate. I feel personally attacked anytime there's a character like me. Probably because the first time it happened, it was Kaiba, and I was really upset when someone accused me of being Kaiba. And yeah, I was upset when I was a kid. I was like, "How dare you say that to me?" I remember exactly where I was too. It was like at this cabin park. We were supposed to go camping for the weekend. We were staying in a cabin, and I had like a portable DVD player at the time, and back when portable DVD players were a thing. And me and my friend at the time, Megan, were watching through Battle City. And shortly before this, I had committed a crime, like as a child. A Coke machine ate my dollar. I broke the Coke machine with a fire extinguisher, and then used the fire extinguisher, like, and there was like white smoke all over it. And then we go back and watch the Battle City episodes where he like almost leveled a building and there's like white smoke everywhere. And she was like, "Oh, look, it's you." I was like, "Stop." She was like, "No, yeah, you just defaced public property. That's you." And I was like, "I hate you." I'm never doing that again. I was just mad because I lost $1 and I was not, I was a minor. I was very upset. Okay, it was the Coke machine's fault. It ate my dollar. Did I get my Coke? Yeah, I did. Reached in and grabbed it right after I broke that Coke machine. That's terrible. No one ever found out. To my knowledge. I don't know. Never got punished. To my knowledge, Megan never told anybody, but we didn't really hang out on the regular after that. I don't do friends very well. I did. I worked hard for that Coke. It was physical labor. I wish I had like an actual physical little sister to cosplay Aerie as. I bought a wig to do Aerie, and because I want, what I really want is an Aerie mutual. Find me an Aerie mutual. I make so much Aerie content because I love like the eraser Mike found family trope. I love that. And I love them as siblings. And I do Aerie content a lot because it makes me feel nice. And I want an airy mutual that will do all the eraser mic things with me. Anyway, but I got an airy wig to try and do it myself. And I put it on and I'm fine with the wig itself, but the rest of the cosplay made me so uncomfortable that I had to take it off. Yes, do it. God, I would absolutely love that. If someone can find me an airy mutual, I would dig it. I'm sure Gen Z from hell like really is growing irritated with me because I duet every single airy video they've probably ever done. I think as either Shinzo or Aizawa, one of the two, every single time. I'm sure they hate me. They get like 2 duets from me, like at least like a week. No, it's not that often, but it's pretty often enough to where they're probably getting annoyed. They see my name over and over. They're like, it's probably. Uh, talk to your little sister, and let me know. I have a wig if you. I do not. Yeah, no, I don't have a brother that would willingly do anything with me. That's not funny. But yeah, no, I don't really have. I don't know a lot of people, and also I don't really associate even with most of my own family. And I don't have a whole lot of friends. And my partner's cosplay though. Denki's Last Brain Tale was in here earlier. They cosplay Denki and they also cosplay Toga. And my other partner is working on a gender bent Mei Hatsume to show off all of his amazing stuff that he makes me all the time. So that'll be really cool. I'll let you know when he starts doing that because we gotta get him a good wig to do Mei Hatsume with. I'm thinking like a Natsu wig if he's gonna be a gender bent Mei Hatsume, but I'll let you know. Stuck between I want to cosplay and do not perceive me. Yeah, it's a struggle for me too. Half the time, I don't want to do stuff on camera. Like I'll get into Shinzo and then just walk around my house and just chill there. And I'm like, I don't want to make content for you guys. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to do that. And I had a really big problem when I hit when I got over 10K is when I started like low grade panicking. At first, it was all fun and games, and I was just goofing off by myself in my own little corner of the internet, and I was like, haha, I'm alone. Nobody can see me. And then my account blew up one day, and I got scared. And I was like, and I low-key was almost like, I'm going to delete TikTok now. I got to delete TikTok now. Yeah, we've done that. Like, I've gone over to Noties. We're supposed to be film stuff. We're supposed to film this stuff. And I'm just like, have you seen the new John Wayne Gacy documentary? No, it was the Night Stalker documentary. I was like, have you seen the new Night Stalker documentary? And they were like, no. And I was like, would you like to? And we watched serial killer documentaries for like a whole day. I probably won't delete it unless like I don't know. I can't say that. I can't even promise that. I don't even know. I have to time. I'm like I gotta delete it. Too many people know about me now. Why? Why? And then I get weird, and then I'm like, I kind of want to go be quiet for a little bit. Yeah, no, it's a struggle. Well, it is past 11 my time, and so I know it's got to be late for you guys. So I'm going to let you guys go, and we're going to see each other next Tuesday at 8 to read more and find out what. I'm not going to Sleepy Time Junction. You new here? No, I know you're not new here. No, you want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go make French press coffee, and then I'm going to edit the footage for this audition that I got. I'm not going to forget how to do that. Don't worry, I'll stay hydrated and I'll eat things and I maybe sleep if I can. We'll see how it goes. But we're gonna be back here next week, same time, probably same place. Not sure, unsure about the location. I'll update you. Thank you. And we're gonna be here at 8, and we're gonna read some more. And I'll probably have this live as long as TikTok doesn't be weird about it. Oh, thank you for the roses. I'm going to have it uploaded to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is in the link in the bio. There's going to be a catch up of what we just read tomorrow. Like a recap for you guys. So if you missed it or you missed part of it, you can kind of get the gist of what's going on before we meet next time. And I hope you all have a good week. It's just 1 a.m. I gotta go do things though. I have other stuff I need to finish up. So, and I'd prefer not to put it off. I'm a doer. I gotta do things or else I feel like I'm not achieving anything. And I always have to achieve my best. Yeah, bye. Can't wait to see you guys next Tuesday, and stay safe. Get your booster shot. Get vaccinated. Take care of your pets. Drink some water. Go eat. And I love you guys.